try to stop us, but they can't keep us down, baby. Me and Mike, our mic stands broke on the same day.
Oh man.
Yeah, we got that. Me and Mike just have that. We have that type of bond. We have that. We
Is
don't
his still broken?
Come on. If mine is still broken,
His will be broken another month.
Yeah, his is broken for sure. So luckily I did video, so I have one of those clip-on microphones. So I got that clipped on right here. So I heard the audio last time. It wasn't as good, but still, it's a professional microphone. It's good. So we got that, and we have a great podcast for you guys today. Let me open up a little sody pop. A little sody pop. Might be parched.
Pop it up.
Beautiful. Beautiful sound.
Oh, I love it. So what are we talking about? We're talking about Super Bowl 56. We're talking about head coaches, monkey knife fight. We got that going. Shout out to them. And, of course, at the end, we're going to be doing the 2022 quarterback rookie class. And this will kind of wrap up. We've been doing each position for 2022. And we're going to be doing a lot more Dynasty content. So make sure you stay tuned throughout the entire podcast.
We didn't do kickers. Are you going to do that, Brain?
I only do phenoms. I know you're joking, but I do cover rookie kickers every year, but only like super relevant ones.
The like, McPhersons of the world.
Yeah, like Evan McPherson. I talked about him a lot last year. And so we'll see, we'll see what happens this year. I don't know if there's any. But Evan McPherson, I was right on. So that was good. He was really good.
That was a great pick.
Yeah.
Speaking of the really Bengals, good. Amar,
yes.
Our first comment of the night. Who day? He's got his Bengals in this pie chart. You want to make some comments on that?
Yeah. So
lowest percentage. Oh boy.
I've been working on YouTube. Let me close my door really quick. Just a second. I've been working 12 years grinding on YouTube. And apparently I could just hop on TikTok and like I spit and I make pie charts like this. And
with your poker hat?
Yeah, I get way more views. So my TikTok right now, I'm pull this up. You guys won't believe this. It's not like I don't know what I'm doing, but you guys know less than me about TikTok. 75,000 views on my last TikTok.
That's pretty good. Not bad.
For me, that's really good because I'm not even on there a lot, but 75,000 views. I just do make a 10-second video, and I love making these pie charts. And I think if YouTube doesn't work out, if this podcast doesn't work out, I think I can eat these pie charts, like literally, because if I figure out a way to make money on YouTube, I'm going to be eating these pie charts. They're going to be putting food on my table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm the pie chart. And here's J7. He's the inspiration for these pie charts. So he says, in short, he says crazy stuff on Discord. And I'm like, maybe I can, let me figure out the odds for this and turn it into a pie chart. And that's how this started. And then the first one got is my first big TikTok, right? It got 10,000 views or 20,000. And then I just made 30 of these. And every time I do it, it's a ton of views. Like some of them have 250,000 views. And so here's the latest one. Yeah, I don't know.
So the other videos don't get a lot of views, like the other videos you cut up and you put on there?
The videos you make get 300 views.
Oh man, see, there you go.
But that's good.
Rules.
It's
still pretty good though. It's still
filler content because they get the pie chart and then they start scrolling through my other stuff. So now it goes from 300 views to 340 views. So
there we go.
You just got to do both. You got to
going.
Yeah, we got to do both. We got to promote the podcast. I mean, it is what it is, and and Mike and I thought this was some fake algorithm just to keep teens hooked, but which still might be true. They might exaggerate it.
It's definitely true.
But it's not. It's really not fake. Because on my last one, look at this. This is real. You can't fake this. My last TikTok, 635 comments. You don't that's not faked. I mean, there's
that's definitely engagement.
There's a Raider fan saying they're gonna win the Super Bowl, and they just commented a couple hours ago. Like that's
Yeah, that's
real.
possible.
You can't. It's not a bot. That's
Here
a
we
real
go.
Raider fan.
That's a real Raider fan.
That's a
You're
real Raider.
already interviewing head
Oh, boy.
coaches, buddy.
Yeah, I was like,
We'll
I
get
was
to
like-
that.
I was like, dude, whatever makes you happy. Yeah, I was like, whatever world you
Exactly,
want to
whatever
live
gets you to
in,
sleep
that
at
makes
night.
you, yeah,
Right.
that guy. Whatever.
Raiders fans be crazy, man.
Here's some context from J7. He says, context to the
Oh, we
situation
don't
was
need
I said the Niners would
time.
sweep the division. Chris wanted to bet on it, and Couch made this to calculate.
He's ruining. This is like
So are
explaining.
you helping these guys put?
No, this is like explaining a joke. He's not. It's not. No, this is not. We don't need more.
No need.
That's why I summed it up the way I did. How I said it was cool when we're getting past the intro on the pod. We don't need like what he said wasn't cool. What I did to transform it, I made it cool. You know what I mean? Like he's like a pile of clay. I molded that into a good sculpture. Now he provided the clay. Like that was great.
And
That's
so,
Smitty.
I was gonna say the fantasy football show. Smitty says, "Yo, fella, since he's still getting disrespected by the masses."
Hey, the
5%. Yeah.
The pie chart
Oh,
don't
boy.
lie. So I don't make Super Bowl predictions. Like I just realized that the past 5 years I just refuse to do it, and nothing against it. I just don't do it. I just feel like any team has a shot, especially this year. But from my TikTok comments, the ones that got me the most excited, the ones that got me drooling the most saliva, is a Bengals Niners Super Bowl. I mean, that would be amazing.
Kind of nuts. Yeah.
Because the Bengals are my second favorite team. Everyone knows I'm friends with Joe Mixon. You know, everyone knows that. Everyone knows Joe Mixon does not like me, but I like him. And so the Bengals are naturally my second favorite team. And Niners, of course, my absolute favorite team. So that would be great if both of them made it. And I think Joe Burrow, Chase, these guys are so fun to root for, right? They're new, they're fresh, they're explosive, and they're underdogs. And so are the Niners. And that's all I can say. I think those two are going to be great.
That would be the third time in history that they've met in the Super Bowl. And the only time the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl, they lost twice to the 49ers.
Really?
So pretty
wow, that is fascinating stuff. Right
really?
So I'll give you
Dang.
some information. In 1982, the 49ers won 26-21, and then 1989, the Niners won 20-16. Those were Boomer Esiason led teams, if you remember.
So we're all about 49ers Bengals then.
I think
we gotta be now.
We should be, right?
I think everyone in this podcast, in this chat, whoever is watching live, I think everyone will like that. I think that's the Super Bowl wet dream.
Right on cue, Mars. Yeah, right on cue. Mars says Bengals will finally avenge their Super Bowl losses from the 80s if that happens. Oh boy.
I don't know. Good luck stopping Debo. That's gonna be hard though. That's gonna be hard for the Niners to stop them too.
Stopping Chase is going to be almost impossible with our secondary.
Stopping Chase, stopping Debo, it's going to be offense.
Stopping Devontae could be impossible. We'll see how that goes. I'm not trying to be pessimistic here.
What I think. So our Niners, we're Niner fans here, facing the Packers. I think it's a great matchup. I think either team could win, and I think it's going to be a close game. I mean, the big issue with this game is that the Packers have a superior quarterback, and it's a big deal. But
big deal.
I mean, but I still think, it's going to be a close match, a close game, and a good matchup. I think both these teams are going to match up well, and we'll see.
They know each other. They know each other.
Familiar
too.
faces, cold weather too. So maybe Niners will definitely keep it close. I think
it's a field goal game again, just like it was earlier in the season.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It'll
running game
to a kick.
They got all sorts of stuff to go with.
Bills Chiefs, that should be a toss up right there. It's just, man, these games are they're nuts.
That should be the best game of the week, possibly. If it's not the Niners Packers, it'll be the Bills Chiefs. It's the best game.
I'm going to show you guys now, so you can talk about matchups. Bills Chiefs, we got Titans Bengals, we got 49ers Packers, like we already talked about, and we have Buccaneers Rams. Those are the four matchups this Saturday and Sunday.
And actually, maybe I gave the Patriots a little bit of a chance, but really I was only expecting like the Cowboys and Niners to really, that was like the game Like the Cowboys could have won, I felt like. Other than that, I think the pretenders are out, right? Nobody's given really the Raiders a chance, the Eagles or the Steelers. So they're out. And then the Cowboys are a really good team. Thankfully, the Niners beat them. So we'll see. And this is going to be really exciting.
It's going to be a fun weekend of football, that's for sure.
We got Smitty saying Rams are looking fire. I think any NFC team surprises, it's the Rams. Might be true.
Might be true, but I don't doubt Tom Brady. Not anymore. It's foolish to do that. Honestly,
yes, Stafford didn't throw away one game here. I mean, that's his streak so far of not screwing up one game. So
that's true.
We'll see. Yeah, that's going to be a great game too, because it's not like the Bucs secondary is amazing. I definitely think the Bucs will win, but Rams are a hot team, man. They're hard. Oh, yeah. They're hard to start. They're hard to stop, and they got a great coach. So
great offense.
Oh, we have
defense looked like it came alive last week too, with Von Miller getting to the quarterback and Aaron Donald. He looks
Aaron Donald. Oh yeah,
he's a mean man.
Cardinals did nothing. They weren't ready. Do we have more Niner fans here? Jeez,
we got Cole in the house saying 49ers win it all, no doubt.
Wow.
Of course, J7's backing us up with more information. It says Niners, Cowboys got 41 million views. Packers, Niners might come close to that. You guys are saying this is going to be a really big game, so it's going to be a highly watched game most likely as well.
The game started to get so frustrating, I almost switched to Nickelodeon. I was like, I got to change it up. Like,
you want slime time?
Yeah, we had that game 1, and I was like, oh, man, it's slipping. I was like, I don't know. What should I do? I kept it on. I didn't switch to Nickelodeon the whole time, and that was the right decision.
You wanted to hear Nate Burleson's commentary? He's the Nickelodeon commentator, I guess.
That guy's great. He's good.
Yeah, he's a good analyst.
Great. Yeah, he does a good job on the Nickelodeons. Well, I watch clips afterwards, but let's keep it moving. We're going to talk about head coaches and Dynasty. So let's do the ad read right here. Monkey Knife Fight, guys. This is the sponsor of this podcast, and we have a small, tiny special announcement. Drew got on Monkey Knife Fight 8 weeks ago, something like that.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
And then just about 4 hours ago, we got Sue Shane to sign on
finally.
So one of the strategies that we like to do on here is that they seem to be giving away $5,000 bonus for the touchdown dance if all 3 of your players score at least 1 touchdown. And so, and it's got to be at least a $5 entry. So that's one strategy that we've done here, is to enter several $5 touchdown dance. You could do more. You could do 20, but usually the more you do, the less you want to put in. I do like 8 $5 ones, and then you kind of like bound to hit one, and one of them hits, you get to share a piece of that $5,000 pie on top of the winnings you already made.
For sure.
So they put that bonus out there, to get people to play. And I mean, hey, might as well take advantage. How many times did you win a piece of that?
Just
5,
once. Just
once. The one time where we did 8, you did 7.
I believe so.
Oh, I've won it just this year at least 3 times.
Nice.
That's pretty good. Wow.
Yeah. Because if you, like I said, if you enter every week and enter multiple times, you're bound to hit it here and there. And then, it's a cool thing. So anyways, guys, Monkey Knife Fight is DFS player prop games. We see who's playing good this week, who's playing bad this week. And I have my pick for the week for you guys. It's going to be the more or less, and you get paid 3.6x your contests. So I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm projecting Aaron Rodgers to throw for 280 pass yards. So I'm going more for Aaron Rodgers. So more than 265 pass yards. And for Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm projecting him to throw right around the same 278 pass yards. So I'm going with Jimmy G more as well. So I put in $10. I need both of them to hit. And if they do, I win 36. But then again, you could do the touchdown dance, which is a strategy you've been talking about, Sushane. So if you want to do the touchdown dance, a lot of people in Discord's talking about Devontae Adams, Eli Mitchell, and Deebo Samuel. That's a great one. And here's another one for you. It's touchdown dance Bengals Titans game. Go scroll down. It's going to be Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase. So Henry has a 50.5% chance, assuming he's good to go, ready to go. And, you're going to have to take a risk. It's his first game back, but we're expecting him to get a big workload. 50.5% chance to score 2 or more TDs. Joe Mixon, 53% chance to score at least 1 TD. And Jamar Chase, 53% chance to score at least 1 TD.
All right, so I'm going to enter one of each of these, and then next week I'll give you an update, see how we do.
Yeah, and you can even do the if you want to do the touchdown dance, I would probably also do the Niners one too.
Yeah, he was referring to this, by the way,
for sure.
Mitchell, he was referring to this comment. Yeah, so J7 said Mitchell, Debo, and Adams book it, and then Pandora's box said it won't hit. We'll see.
See, for me, when I play DFS, it's all about like what's my goal? What do I want? And with this pick, I love it because if Davante Adams really doesn't score a touchdown,
we'll probably win.
I think the Niners win. So
you're gonna win both ways.
So so to me it's fun. And
you're hedging your bets.
I usually put in $5 or $20. So it's not really not a big deal.
It's not a huge bet. I feel
it's not that bad. So
upside is there, though. That's the whole thing. That's the name of the game.
Let's not listen to this guy.
Here's Pandora's pick, though. He says AJ Dillon, Brandon Ayuk, and Alan Lazard.
We probably shouldn't even read that. All
right, we will come back to this in 1 week.
Look, this guy. We probably shouldn't even read that just in case people are skipping through the podcast and think those are our picks. Like, no, that's terrible. But it's touchdowns like that. That could hit for sure. But as far as being a recommended pick, that's dumb. Let's not do that. Let's just. How about no? Like Aaron Jones actually projected like pretty high to get in the end zone, actually. So just that one alone. And I mean, of course, you probably want to pick Davante Adams, best wide receiver in the game.
Over Lazard, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's the move.
So one of my buddies called me.
He got 18 targets in their first matchup earlier in the season.
One of my buddies called me yesterday and was like, how are we going to stop Niners fan? How are we going to stop Davante Adams? And he's like, we got to triple team him. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's like, it's giving me nightmares. Like a lot of teams try to double team Davante Adams. It doesn't work. And if you triple team him, I mean, now it's going to really open up Aaron Jones. It's not like they suck. They're like the best team in the league. And it's not like the running backs suck. Matt LaFleur, he's a great coach, great system. Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon. I mean, these guys, it's tough. I guess their biggest weakness is that they don't have a really good number 2 wide receiver, but they got a really good quarterback who kind of makes up for that. Yeah. makes Lazard look really good usually.
Right. MVS as well can get
when he's
play touchdown.
Yeah, this is we're talking about exactly this. This isn't the first team that's gonna try to double Davante Adams. Like NFL team, like when you say stuff like this, like, oh, you don't think they're doubling him? Like, you really think? And Pandora, like, don't take this personal. Right? We're just talking football, but you really think all NFL teams are that stupid? Like, oh, I got an idea. Let's double Adams. No, like people have thought
Come
of
on
it.
now, yeah.
There's schemes to get around that.
It's hard to do that. Yeah, number 1, Matt LaFleur's system is great. Number 2, the chemistry Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams has.
It's called a back shoulder throw.
It's impossible.
It beats double teams all the time.
When we really saw it was, I think, was Davante Adams out or something. This is so long ago, but like we seen a game without Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers was thrown to a bunch of bums. Like they had no
Name Alan Lazard.
Not like they were that one receiver Sue Shane likes was like in there, Amari Rodgers.
Yeah,
it was only one game. Ugh. Yeah, and you could tell like he was just so mad at Amari, and he was like, it's just when Adams is, they have such incredible chemistry. They know exactly what to do, and it's hard to double team a guy, on a 9-yard throw often. Triple team, it has worked. I know a triple team that's worked, and that was Odell Beckham's rookie year. He lit it up against the Cowboys, and then the Cowboys shut him down. And what I saw, I didn't go back and watch the film, but just was seeing the game live, they triple teamed him and they stopped Odell. But I mean, that's the Giants. I don't know if they had any other players back then. I mean,
Sterling Shepard.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. They didn't have anybody.
Guy,
yeah, I mean,
you can't triple team.
Slayton. No,
yeah,
he was probably still young.
Triple teaming Devontae Adams it'll probably work and stop him, but
Lazard and MVS, they're not scrubs.
And Aaron Jones too.
Aaron Jones as well. Of course.
I mean, he can catch, he can run.
Pandora's box says, "Hear me out. Cobb is a sneaky play this week against number 3 corners." I don't know if he's talking about playing in monkey knife fight, but in general,
no, he can't be.
But what you guys are talking about, basically taking advantage of our secondary, having Devontae get more of the attention.
I don't hate what Pandora's saying about Cobb, but I mean, like, what am I going to do with this information though? So, talking about regular DFS maybe, but anyway, that was actually an ad read, guys. So, Monkey Knife Fight, it'll really help support the couch. Guys, go check it out. Just head on over to the link in the description. Use promo code couch. Peep this. If you're a new Pandora, I'm talking to you now. If you're a new user like Pandora, you're going to get $5 free play. All right, peep this. Just $5 free play. So you can enter one of my picks or one of your, Lazard. What does he say?
Randall Cobb.
Dillon, Randall Cobb.
For free. $5 for free. On top of that, you're going to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Sushane, what did you deposit today, Sushane?
I did 100 today, so I got 205 now. Just sitting
in your account. You have $205. Now they're not going to let you deposit that and go buy a Tesla or anything like that. But you have to play that. But still, you have $205 in your account to play just from depositing $100. So I mean,
sounds like we got a new monkey knife.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Get it, Pandora.
Pandora, enter the weird one. We'll enter the normal one.
And then come back next week. Yeah. Watch the podcast again and we'll go over it.
Yeah, either we'll cry or we'll celebrate. We don't know. Maybe everyone scores a touchdown. That happens too. Like, we can all win. It's possible. Aaron Rodgers is gonna have to be a busy boy, very busy boy. But he's gonna have to be sleeting it. But hey, it can happen. All right, guys. Yeah, check out Monkey Knife Fight and really help support the couch. So I found this from NFL.com. How dare they rank the most sexiest NFL head coaching openings? And I'll just go over the list and have you guys talk about this. So they rank number 1 Raiders, number 2 Broncos, number 3 Jags, number 3 Jags.
That's what I'm thinking too, right? Like,
I get
to stop in your tracks to reread that.
Yeah, I get that I get the sexiness appeal, but also they're kind of doomed. So that's, and then number 4,
Jags.
we have the
Dolphins. Number 1 overall pick 2 straight years.
Number 5, we have
good.
the Chicago Bears. 6, the Vikings. 7, Giants. Now I like that. I like that the Giants are
Giants.
And then 8, Texans. Let's, first of all, let's redo this. How about let's just move the Jags down 1. I feel like that's not that bad.
I think the Jaguars ahead of the Bears makes sense.
And then let's move the Texans up 1. That's all I like it.
Okay.
That's fair.
I mean, I feel like the Giants O-line is cursed. I
kind of think the Broncos should be number 1.
I was
with
just
all
thinking
the talent,
that as well. Raiders, Broncos.
Good offense. I think Broncos should be number 1 if we're changing things.
They got some nice weapons. Noah Fant, Judy.
They need a quarterback.
That's what they could do in the offseason, though, with some available options, whether it's by trade or by the rookie draft, which we're going to go over here in a moment.
All right, I'm leaving it though. I get the final say.
I'm just giving
it's a good.
perspective.
I can understand that, but it's pretty good. I mean, I think the list is much better with that adjustment right there. So who are some good head? So I think Doug Peterson, for example, I think to the Bears. That's my
Doug Peterson to the Bears is your prediction?
No, I just think that's a good fit.
That's a good starting point, is what you're saying to this conversation. I think
I think the Bears should pursue Doug Peterson.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, they had news. they had news out, and it was in Discord. So John Harbaugh is going to probably interview with the Raiders. Byron Leftwich will most likely interview with the Raiders. So those are two names to talk about. And
Byron Leftwich is a good pick. I like that one a lot. Defensive-minded guy. He'll be a good one.
Byron Leftwich?
I thought he was offensive.
Sorry,
offensive-minded. Former quarterback.
Yeah,
okay.
At least we knew to say. At least we didn't let
Todd
him,
Bowles is who I was thinking of. Todd Bowles.
Leftwich back to his team, the Jags. Would that be a fit?
Leftwich to the Jags. With
I mean, he played there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That'd be cool. Look, I think a coach like Todd Bowles should not leave. Like, I don't know. Like, these things are so, like, I talk about this every year. Like, I feel like Rob Saleh, he shouldn't have left. You know, you got a good thing. I don't know why you, like, Greg Roman, like, that man should never ever leave. Ever.
I kind of feel you there, actually. Definitely.
It's like Todd Bowles, I could see having success for sure. But it's like, why would you leave when you got a good thing? Can't you just ask your boss for more money? Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, just give me another 100,000. Let me stay. It doesn't hit the cap, right?
No.
Yeah, just give me another 100. I mean, we're winning Super Bowls here. Like, give me another 100,000.
Speaking of that, though, I don't want to pivot too hard, but I want to talk about the Bills coordinators because they're kind of in a great situation, I would say. So you got Brian Dabble, he's the offensive coordinator, and then you have Leslie Frazier, who's the defensive coordinator. Both names have been swirling around, coaching rumors for some time now. But they got a good thing going in Buffalo, both of them, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean,
Brian Dabble was interesting for sure.
Buffalo's on fire, and Buffalo's a very interesting team when you're looking at the pie chart because out of a lot of the guys that we think can win, Mahomes, Brady, and Rod, we've seen these guys do it a lot.
Right.
Josh Allen has just kind of recently reached his peak, right? He wasn't good his first.
I don't think he's reached his peak. He's on his way to his peak.
No, not technically.
I have no,
but you know what? He made that.
He's
big
getting
leap.
a lot to be elite level.
To be more technical, he took the big leap. The start of last year, that's what a huge leap.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's been kind of on that same level. So he just hasn't been like the Bills defense wasn't great last year. Josh Allen just turned great last year, and we just haven't seen that. So I feel like that's another situation where, like, do we really want to leave this? It's like a super young team that probably hasn't even reached its potential yet, and just guys like I don't get these guys that really want to leave. But head coaching jobs pay more, right?
Oh yeah,
I know. See, I'm okay with asking
more usually.
I'm okay with asking the dumb questions because the answers are usually more simple. So when you're talking about millions more, well, that makes the choice easy. I want to be a head coach now. I want to have you want a few million more. Like, let's just be quite frank. Like, that's the main thing. And then you probably want the other things. But if you got a good thing going, and imagine if you did get a couple more mil to just stay, now this decision becomes like, oh, do I stay with a great team who's, making championship games and Super Bowls every year? Like, why would you want, you know how big of it, like, you instantly get a huge headache as soon as you're a head coach of the Jets or the Jags. Who did they interview? I'm sorry, I don't remember the player. He came from the Texans to the Niners. I think he's a defensive. Somebody.
D'Amico Ryans. D'Amico Ryans is our defensive.
No. He's a player. It's just now.
Sorry.
They asked him, "What's the difference between the Texans and the Niners?" And his answer was so.
Oh, it's Charles Uwayune.
Yeah, that's him. And his answer was so truthful. He's basically like, it's a mess there.
Omenawu, I think it's pronounced.
They don't know. You don't know what you're needed as a player. Sometimes you're a starter. Sometimes you're on the bench. He's talking about there's no power struggle here for the Niners. The GM and the coach are congruent.
I heard this interview.
Yeah, and you could tell he was 100% honest. And
are you listening to AM radio again?
Instagram, bro. They clip it.
Just joking.
No.
I heard on PNVR. There's only one boomer here who listens to AM radio. Yeah, that's definitely you. Sorry.
Drew. God, come on, Drew.
Hey, it's a good way to pass the time while you're driving. I'm not a music guy necessarily, so
yeah. No, when I used to drive a lot, Strictly Sports Radio. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
it. And that's a cool way to, you get a little bit of sports, like you get some knowledge and get to know what's going on. Anyway,
here's a comment. I just wanted to pull this up. Kale says Brian Flores has to be a top candidate for some of these. He got fired from the Miami Dolphins, you may remember. What say you on Brian Flores, and where would he fit?
Texans.
Okay.
It's okay to answer with one word, right? Like, that's fine.
Well, I couldn't believe he got fired, first of all.
Yeah, really.
That was shocking to me. I don't know. Maybe the Bears.
7 straight
Broncos?
wins, was it? 7 straight
Seven
wins to
straight
end the
wins,
season?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he gets canned?
And they were just continuing to build, like they were what, I think in full quote unquote tank mode last year, and they didn't tank.
They didn't like him as a person. And
that's true. A little rift between him and Tua, I guess.
Maybe he wanted Watson too hard.
Also, the owner as well. Probably, I think the owner and the coach or something, or GM, or there was some friction there as well. Not just
he might have pushed too hard for Watson.
Not just Tua. Yeah, and I mean just in general too. Like Warriors coach Mark Jackson, I guess one of the reasons he got fired. They didn't like him, like as a person. And I think it's this new trend of just firing coaches. And imagine if it was super taboo. Like, imagine if almost no coaches got fired and it was just really rude and awkward to fire your coach. Everyone would be going crazy. All Dolphins fans would be like, "How could you do this to this man?
That's true.
He's the only like." But because there is this trend now that
turnover.
What do we call it? Isn't there like a Monday? Isn't it like a dark Monday?
Yeah, like Black Monday, I think they're called.
Yeah, when the coaches get fired the Monday after the season's over.
Yeah, there's a it's the opposite of a holiday, but it's like they have a holiday. They have a special day for this now. Like,
mark your calendars.
It's just the norm, and it was a very weird thing, and it is what it is. I think the Texans are going to have to pursue him.
So we got a couple comments. Mar says Dan Quinn is an option for some of these teams.
Here's another guy.
Same thing, yeah.
Please stay. Unless you're an idiot. I saw you on the Falcons.
I agree.
Oh my God.
No good.
Oh my God.
No good.
That franchise got destroyed with you at the helm. You as a Cowboys defensive coordinator are really good. Stay there.
What do we think about Vance Joseph?
I was going to ask you guys.
I just remember the meme. Vance Joseph is having the time of his life. Honestly, I don't even know what is his position, or what is Vance Joseph doing?
I'd have to look it up. I know he's been.
I don't even know what coaching.
Yeah, I don't know where he is.
I just remember the meme, and during the meme, he was the Broncos head coach.
He's the defensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, he can go ruin one of these teams we hate.
Exactly.
Yeah,
put him on the Giants.
Yeah, there we go. Get on that carousel. Get a couple more O linemen. Have them suck. I like the Giants. The Giants, it's funny,
hysterical
right?
franchise.
You draft an O lineman, he sucks. You sign like a star O lineman, he just all of a sudden starts declining. Like, and you guys just do this every year.
Rinse and repeat.
Go get an O lineman that used to be good, no longer.
This
good.
is actually
an O lineman. You can't.
This is actually Amar's
original.
Yeah, no, I get. This is Amar's original comment, by the way. He says, "I feel like there are too many former coaches, now coordinators, who are getting head coaching interviews who don't deserve it based on their head coaching tenure." Like you're saying, Dan Quinn ruining the Falcons.
No, that's not necessarily it. Although this is true, Amar, this is what's going on. Too many coaches get fired. Okay, head coach is a very important piece, a very important hire, a very important position on an NFL team. I think everyone would agree. You guys agree,
Absolutely.
right? Okay.
Yeah,
it's very hard. It's very hard to coach an NFL team. And you have to be really good at it. Now, just imagine if eight starting quarterbacks got fired today. This is very similar. Where the heck are you going to find quarterbacks? So that's really the number one factor. This is the true factor right here, Amar. It's not that, he head coach once and now he's a hire again. Like, it's because there's not that many head coaches. because guys
Not
like
that many good ones.
Jim Harbaugh is like one of the best Bill O'Brien's coming up a lot. Like,
Oh,
oh
God.
God. Which, I mean, he might not be a bad coach, but he certainly was a bad GM.
He should stay where he's at Alabama. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Speaking about staying where you're at.
Yeah, that's I would just imagine, I don't know, and I don't watch that much college, but I would just imagine he's happy right now. Stay happy. Like, I'm guessing he's happy.
He can't trade away superstars in
That's
college.
for sure.
Yeah, so they're just, look at this. There's eight vacancies all of a sudden, and this is a hard position to fill. Like, everyone knows that Josh McDaniels is going to fail as a head coach, but like, his name is coming up. Like, like, if you can't get your number one or number two options, you're gonna have to like try to get Josh McDaniels, knowing he's gonna fail. Like,
That's true. There's not a whole lot available.
There's not. It's a
you just
hard
gotta pick someone.
And what's
gotta
crazy
leave.
is like some of these head coaches, they can't even manage the clock and they do dumb things. And like, I love that meme where it's like, this is the reason why 12-year Madden, John Madden, RIP. Madden, the video game, is the reason why people can manage the clock better than Mike McCarthy. It's like, I mean, some of these head coaches are making rookie mistakes that 12-year-olds don't make.
Yeah,
And
they don't
it's
play
like,
enough Madden.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Madden was actually invented for.
Seriously,
realistic simulation.
No, we did
do
that.
They told Madden, like, look, man, we can't fit these graphics and pixels in here. Like, they don't have the technology. It'd be way easier if we made it 7-on-7. And he said, you can go screw yourself. If it ain't 11-on-11, it's not real football. So he wanted to make a real simulation. That's how this all started. And it's like, we know how to manage the clock way better than some of these. Anyway, you need a good head coach. There's not a lot of good ones out there. And it's just, it's annoying. They get fired like that.
Kale has a funny comment. He says Matt Nagy has some free time if anyone is interested.
Could Matt Nagy get hired? Could Matt Nagy get hired as a head coach right away? Is that possible?
I think as a coordinator, maybe first, but not as a head coach right away.
What's the difference? So. Just go. I mean,
that's true.
Is that really gonna do anything? Like, if you're
back to the special teams coordinator job?
Nagy's still Nagy. Like, it's still Nagy. It's still a Nagy team. It's a Nagy offense. I don't know.
It's not a good offense, that's for sure. Hard to watch.
Oh, Mike Dick gets so expired, dog. Get that out of here. Speaking of boomers.
Right.
Bruce is here.
Da Bears.
Yeah, we can't. This guy's like.
What about our honorable mention? You want to talk about the honorable mention, the Seahawks?
What do you guys? So yeah, I have an honorable mention, a sexy pick, a surprise pick. Seahawks. I mean, does Pete Carroll stop chewing the gum? Seattle. What do you guys?
Pete Carroll stop chewing the gum. I like the phrasing of that.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's a good destination. I don't think so either. But if he does, let's say if they do get a new guy, I think that would be probably the number one destination.
Oh yeah,
ahead of
it would be the top on the
Broncos,
list.
And you got Russell Wilson.
Also is going to be a top 3 head coach. That's a real.
Oh yeah, for sure. Also,
Pete Carroll's a real head coach. Like, you can actually get a coach that you like. That's a good one.
You can make a deep playoff run with Pete Carroll. That's
if they fire him though, it's like that's kind of a shame because that it's got to be like an 80-90% chance you're not going to find a better head coach.
That's true. He's up there. He's up there with the all-timers for sure.
He's a good head coach. It's hard to I mean, you're going to fire him because Russell
Wilson
doesn't like him like a couple weeks. Like, I don't know. He
hasn't
got fired.
Very good one, and it's hard to find. I mean, that's 2 points right there that are not in Seattle's favor if they do fire and get rid of the gum chewer.
So Amar's comment, he says that the Seahawks already announced that they're going to retain Carroll. He is correct. 4 days ago, Pro Football Rumors came out saying that the Seahawks will retain both head coach Pete Carroll and GM John Snyder.
And Russell.
They did go on to say a little bit about that in the article, but they didn't say, of course, that he's for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, Yeah, I mean, what we're talking about was kind of, I mean, he didn't get fired, but so I don't think he is. But we're talking. It's more of a hypothetical.
You're just talking about him not chewing the gum anymore.
No, I was a joke. I meant him getting fired. I was just saying, like, well, if he did get fired, I would be like extremely shocked. So I know they're keeping him, but like, I mean, I thought they would keep Flores too.
Yeah, it would be surprising. It would be surprising.
So the Dolphins missed playoffs the last 2 years, right? By a millimeter, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I think this year was close.
Last year, I think they had 10 wins.
And I think you're right. Actually,
didn't make it, and I think that does. I mean, it's kind of lame, but I think that does kind of go with it. Like, hey, you missed playoffs too, and it's like more of a technicality than them being bad, right? You get 10 wins, you don't make it. It's like, oh god.
Yeah, the Dolphins were 9-8 this season. They did miss by one game. I'm trying to pull up the mock order for last year, but you guys are close. Yeah,
I think they had like 10 wins the year before, and they didn't make it. I'm getting bored of this topic.
All I know is they were getting better, and getting rid of Flores was an unwise move. That's basically
just fire them all. Fire every head coach and have a head coach draft. All right,
you're correct. They were 10-6 last year, 9-8 this past season, 2021, and the season before that, 2020, they were 10-6.
That's probably their excuse. Hey, we didn't make playoffs 2 years. Sorry, you're fired. All right, next topic. What do we got, guys?
All right, so now we're actually going to talk a little bit about the draft order, and this is going to segue into possible quarterback landing spots. For example, when we talk about the 2022 quarterback rookie class. So what we're looking at here, guys, is basically the draft order as it stands right now. Okay, so we're looking at Jacksonville number 1, Detroit number 2, Houston number 3, New York Jets number 4. Yeah, sorry, thank you for doing that, and so on. So I won't read all the names, but we're talking about this because we're going to talk about teams that are going to need a new quarterback. You talked about it earlier, Brandon. You can't just fire 8 quarterbacks. Well, let's see what teams may fire their quarterback next season. And these are just possibilities, right? But these are some possible, quarterback landing spots. If nothing else, maybe to draft a rookie and to keep them on the bench for a year before they replace their incumbent starter. So do you guys want to talk a little bit about some possible quarterback landing spots? Who needs the quarterback and who maybe needs them the most?
I'll tell you, I can go over these logos for our audience listener.
So go ahead.
You got 12 logos up here. We got the Broncos, Steelers, Saints, Panthers, Giants, Washington football team, Dolphins, Colts, Vikings, Falcons, Lions, and Texans. A lot of the same names we mentioned for head coach vacancies.
It's similar,
pretty similar. Yeah,
makes sense though. You get a new head coach, bring in a new quarterback, start a new regime, kind of.
You're screwed. 2x. You're screwed 2x over. Exactly. Ain't got no coach. Ain't got no quarterback. That sounds bad. And Giants will never have an O-line, and Falcons don't really have an O-line. So hey,
the football teams, yeah.
Somebody today, just to this is how it's working. This is just how the world works. Someone today tried to give me Matt Ryan for a 2024 third round pick. So they said, take him almost for free. And I said, no. So,
is it Superflex?
It's not Superflex.
Then yeah, it's a no.
That's a legacy dynasty.
That is a no.
Not Superflex. Yeah. I said, no, I mean, like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't even want him. Like, I have Patrick Mahomes, so.
In Superflex, he's worth that.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, for sure. You
might have got a steal if he was Superflex.
Yeah, you want crap. Like, getting crap at quarterback. Anything you can start, like, is great. Like,
at least as a third.
He's a starting quarterback. That's all that matters, really.
Yeah, for now.
Until he
retires,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I know Denver's a pretty interesting spot. Right.
I was just going to say.
Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. Neither of them look to be the answer. Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger is retiring? ? Is that
it's pretty much official. I don't think he said it out loud yet.
He I knew Breeze was retiring too once he couldn't, really throw the ball well, and we see that with Big Ben. So I think the writing's on the. I mean, I said he's retiring before he said it, before he said anything. So now, of course, I think he's retiring, man, because he can't really play. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Breeze, the Saints are still trying to find his true successor. They have what? Jameis Winston, Taysom
Trevor
Hill,
Siemian. Oh, Taysom Hill. Sorry, that's a better option.
Yeah, none of them are really the guy, I don't think. Maybe they'll give it one more go-around with Jameis, you think?
Yeah, I'm a fan of Jameis. I don't think you need a stud quarterback. Yeah, I don't think you have to swing for the fences for a quarterback, but drafting another one could be a good idea. You also have Ian Buck. I remember we were all
gross.
I was like, start the defenses playing against Ian Book. I told everybody that, and so hey, I got sometimes I get things right in fantasy.
Kale is right on time.
It worked out very well.
Ian Gross Book.
So
Carolina.
You got
even
Carolina
have right now.
We got Sammy Darnold, and we got PJ Walker, and Cam is on the way out, I would assume.
Yeah, none of those options seem to be a franchise quarterback at this point in time.
No.
So they're definitely going to be swinging, I think.
Not a lot of these topics interest me except the Giants. What are they going to do with Daniel Jones? I think that's the biggest question mark out of all of this. I think
they said they're going to keep him, but who knows?
I mean,
they got.
I know they'd say everything.
No. What choice? Like, what do you like? What choice? Even the Packers traded up for a quarterback.
Drew, scroll back up to the draft order, because I know the Giants have 2 top 10 picks, top 8.
Yeah, we're looking at 5 and 7 for the Giants.
So I mean, you can get a quarterback
upcoming draft,
a good tackle, and call it a day.
Or a bad quarterback and bad tackle.
Or get 2 linemen.
Quarterback and a bad tackle, right?
Or get 2 dude. If you get 2 linemen, knowing
one
the
of them's
Giants,
hit, right?
They have a 20%.
Daniel Jones is definitely the starter.
20% chance one of them will hit, knowing the Giants.
20% chance.
I mean, let's be real. Like, I haven't seen them hit on an O-line in ever. I haven't seen them put up touchdowns in 6 years. Like,
it's pretty bad.
Touchdowns.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, last time they were like okay was like Odell, when Odell was a rookie, and like they just don't put up a lot of points. Or like that boat pick where they took the boat pick.
Oh man, before the playoff.
That's a pretty good one. Like people do the before and after the boat pick. After that boat pick, like that whole team was done. They haven't
fell off a cliff.
They haven't done anything since then. Yeah. Like
revolved head coaches since then.
Yeah, I don't recognize half the people in the picture anymore. They're out of the league.
Well, they do have all Michael Jordan crying faces on them, so it's hard to recognize.
That is true.
There you go.
But I play a lot of DFS and whatnot. I know now, like, to not pick Giants games because no one scores touchdowns. It's always a low scoring game because this team cannot put up more than 1 touchdown. Like they can't getting a touchdown is like a miracle for them, and they need some kind of They have
this is abysmal offense. That's what it is.
Yeah, they have nothing. So I think
speaking of multiple picks,
that's a crazy Daniel Jones. Do they? Yeah, let's see if they
keeper build elsewhere. Speaking of multiple picks, Drew, you were saying?
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's 2 other teams with multiple picks in the first round, but those teams won't need a quarterback. That's the Jets with 2 picks and the Eagles with 3 picks. So now we are looking at teams like the Giants who have pick number 5, Denver has pick number 9, Atlanta has pick number 8, Washington at 11. So these are all teams we just mentioned. New Orleans at 18, and of course, not to overshadow Detroit at number 2 or Houston at number 3. Basically, a lot of the teams we already mentioned are in this top 18. So that means they could be going after one of the top quarterbacks we're getting ready to cover.
Panthers are mocked to take a quarterback, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Quarterback at 6, it would have to probably be.
I missed the Panthers. You're right. Panthers at 6.
Panthers at 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they gave Sam Darnold that long enough to draft a quarterback at 6. I mean, it's pretty.
I can't believe you're going to pass on Justin Fields and then 1 year later with a higher pick get a worse quarterback. That's kind of
Yeah,
I
it
don't
makes
You could
no
trade back a few slots though. Maybe get the second guy.
or just
Like once the
maybe.
first guy goes.
I think you need to try Sam Darnold a little longer. I don't see how you don't. I mean, you say it's a whole new regime? Like
no,
could they
Matt
just
Rule's
be
still
like,
there.
He's still around, right? It's just a new offensive coordinator, I think, that they're going to find.
I think you got. I mean, how many games did Darnold like actually play? Like 6?
Oh, I was
8?
just looking at
Oh,
the
man,
trade
something
here.
like
Let me-
that. I don't know the exact number, but it was. I know he was.
No,
hurt,
I'll look
and
it
it
up.
was a
Well,
revolving
you have
door.
to count the games where like Cam was playing a lot as like half,
Right.
where they're doing like.
That
Is that like-
rotation, like QBBC, whatever.
Yeah, is that the
Ugh.
best way to tank? Like, just have we're like playing 3 quarterbacks, three bad quarterbacks, and just rotating. Oh yeah, we can put that on TikTok. The Panther poop carousel, the Panther poop merry-go-round. We'll put that clip out there.
The
That was a
quarterbacks
great
do
pick.
merry-go-round.
That was a great pick. Super flex question. They asked us, do we start Sam Darnold or Rashad Penny? And thank God we went with Rashad Penny on that clip.
Sam played 12 games, by the way, last season.
Let's make that
12.
10.
Okay. Let's make that 10. Right.
No. Well, look, he got injured right while playing, right?
You're probably right. I
He
don't
got
see it
injured
exactly
while
on
playing,
this sheet.
and they did a carousel thing. So
There you go.
Yeah, let's call it 10.
Let's
10
make
and a
it
half, 11,
10. Yeah, let's
Something
make
like
it 10's a nice even number. Let's make it 10. I don't think that's enough to know that he's absolute trash. Give him another year, and then you'll be like, all right, this guy's trash.
Just kick the QB carrots.
What are you gonna
QB
What are you
can
gonna
down
do?
one
You're
more
gonna
year.
win this year? You're gonna win a Super Bowl?
Not with
gonna
that
see-
offensive line, no.
We're gonna see this teal-colored confetti coming down. Come on, stop. Just let us build for the future. Like that's all you.
What
can
about the
do.
Colts? What about the Colts taking a quarterback? Do you see it, Brain? Do you see it, Sushane?
I think Wentz is a good QB. He doesn't have many weapons to throw to. I have no complaints with Wentz.
I would like them to take a quarterback just because there is one guy who I think fits really well, and we'll talk about him later. But I kind of agree with Brain. I mean, Carson Wentz has shown he's serviceable. I mean, I know they missed the playoffs this year, but they had it in the bag the last 2 weeks. Just winning in any of those last 2, they just kind of choked it away.
Yeah, they
still have a
lost
good
to the
team, but,
Jags.
you know,
It's
yeah, I mean,
That was
obvious.
their
tough.
chance.
It's tough, right?
They need receivers.
They need receivers.
That's
They need a
obvious.
better second receiver because Pittman's good, but I don't think he can, carry them.
I need receive this number 1, number 2 things like to me is more of a I don't know like a buzzword almost like because everyone's running 3 wide receivers, everyone's running tight ends and like it's a different league now. Like you need receivers and Hilton is done, expired, oft injured or he sucks or I think it's looking like he'll probably retire this year. Unless they really want him back. They're like, dude, you'll play like a reserve role. You'll be like a Frank Gore.
Pay him another $10 million.
Oh, God, no, they can't do that. But they need receivers. There's a lot of receivers this draft. I mean,
that's true.
I think Carson Wentz is above average as far as the NFL quarterback.
Hilton made $8 million last year, not 10. He made $8 million to be injured the majority of the season.
T.Y. Hilton?
Yeah, I remember it was a big 1-year deal that they signed as kind of like a, you're welcome. He's contributed a lot to their team over the season, so that was kind of his payback. I feel like
payback. I see.
Because I don't think he was worth $8 million.
No, because he only played. I think he missed the whole season, right, or most of it.
The majority.
He played only in a handful of games at most.
Yeah, I think Wentz's only issue is if you think he's injury prone. I think that's the main issue.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, Hilton played 10 games.
Hilton played
not very effectively, but he played 10 games. He only had 331 yards receiving this season,
boy.
23 catches in 10 games.
Wow.
No bueno. Oh boy.
Yeah.
They paid $8 million for that.
That's a waste of $8 million. Kinda.
Dang.
Amar reminds us that AJ Green also made $8 million last season for the Cardinals.
He's
Yeah,
better.
There's the difference. Way better.
He's better than Hilton, though.
Yeah.
And we have more Niner fans in the house.
Twitch fam. Let's go.
Here we go.
Look at this.
Lucky says
Twitch.
49ers winning the Super Bowl.
Show him
Over the
Garoppolo?
Bengals for the third time.
Show him that pie chart before we go into the 2022 quarterback rookie class.
All right, Lucky.
Guys.
This is for you.
Yeah, we want
One
the
more
pie
time.
chart. Oh man, this makes me hungry every time I look at it.
Aren't you hungry, Pie?
Look at that.
Hungry, Lucky?
pie. Look at that pie, man.
So are you an apple pie guy? Are you a pecan pie guy?
I
I'm a
like
Niner
apple
pie guy. The 8% looks tasty to me.
Yeah, let's eat that old 8%.
Oh, yeah.
I like pumpkin pie too.
Oh, there you go. We went on a weird food tangent once in one of these podcasts, and Brain was just on a roll. He hit like every food group you could think of. I can't remember what week
On
that
this
was.
podcast?
Oh God, it was hilarious. Moving on though, it was great.
Yeah, we're going on to the Dynasty talk. The NFL, the regular fantasy season might end, but Dynasty, there is no off season.
Has just begun.
Oh, yes. The time is
So,
right.
We're talking about 2022 rookie quarterbacks in terms of Dynasty Fantasy Football. So I'll let Drew and Sushane talk about this.
Okay, so I'll get started by just kind of giving you guys a quick overview. You know, Sushane's going to break it down further, but what we're going to first kind of mention is that this quarterback class is as a whole considered to be weaker than your typical quarterback draft class, and it's similar to the wide receivers that we covered last week. Was it? But there's no consensus top quarterback, just like in that class for the wide receivers. So, you know, we looked at some landing spots already. I'm going to introduce you to a couple of guys who could fit in one of those spots. We got Matt Corral from Ole Miss. He threw for over 3,300 yards last season, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He was a pretty decent rushing threat as well. He had 614 yards and 11 touchdowns. And then to the right, we have Kenny Pickett out of Pitt, who I really like, but he's 6'3", 220. He had 4,300 yards passing, 42 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. So those are pretty big numbers, I think. And tell us a little bit more about these two guys, if you don't mind, Sushane. I know you have kind of the inside scoop on what you think they're going to look like in the NFL.
Yeah, so again, like you were saying, wide receivers, there was no consensus, but we did kind of give you a couple names, like, 2, 3 names, 4 names that maybe one of these guys would be the WR1. So similarly, these two guys, Matt Corral and Kenny Pickett, probably have the highest chance to get picked in as a QB1 in 2022. We're looking at definitely round 1, possibly top 10 overall in the NFL draft, maybe even top 5. If one of these teams really wants a quarterback, they can get Matt Corral or Kenny Pickett. So Corral, he's the kind of more the athletic, like you were saying, he ran the ball. So he's more of the athletic playmaker type of quarterback, not really your pocket passer type guy, right? Gifted arm, though. He can layer his throws. I think last time when we gave kind of a brief introduction about all these guys, I think it was like a couple months back, actually, I kind of compared that to Trevor Lawrence in a way. How he can layer his throws between 2 defenders. So that's Matt Corral. Incredible touch as well on the football. Arm strength as well definitely is going to translate into the NFL level, I believe. He's got a very strong arm. Pocket awareness, escapability. He's quick, so he can escape defenders. And going back to that rushing thing, teams can probably build their offense not necessarily like a Lamar Jackson around his rushing ability, but they can definitely implement that quite a bit into their offense. What's the weakness, right? All these quarterbacks, we said none of them are, or in total is kind of a weak class in general. So for him, consistency is going to be an issue. This year, 5 interceptions, not terrible. I know last year, though, he had double-digit interceptions. So that turnover, it's going to be a glaring blemish there on his resume when he gets scrutinized during the draft process in the coming months. In terms of like a comparison, kind of Zach Wilson-y, off platform, those different arm angles, all that stuff. And what I'm thinking is because he's kind of like that playmaker type of guy, right? If we were to put him on the Denver Broncos, I mean, look at the situation that they're in, right? They have a good defense. They have some weapons. Noah Fant, Jerry Jeudy, Javonte Williams is pretty good. Cortland Sutton. I mean, they got some guys there, right? But in their division, they have Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes that they got to get past in order to, win the division, get a more favorable playoff positioning and whatnot. So you kind of need someone of a difference maker, right? Someone who can kind of, like a dual threat quarterback, run the
High
ball,
upside.
pass the ball, make some plays, right? So maybe Matt Corral to Denver, I think, would be a pretty nice fit. Where do they pick in the NFL draft? I don't remember the exact.
Aren't you scared he's
thing.
going to be just like Drew Lock? Is that not like a number one fear?
I don't know. Maybe. I think he's. Man. I mean, I am definitely a little hesitant on him. That's for sure. As I am with all these quarterbacks, I'm not really high on any of them completely. But I mean, the offense is there, the situation is there, the pieces are there. But it could happen. Being him being just like a Drew Lock, just like an average guy, like that's definitely a very strong it's
Below
an
average
outcome. Yeah,
Below
Broncos pick
average.
number 9, by the way. Broncos pick number 9.
Yeah, so
And
that's top 10, right where I was thinking. So it's possible you can go to Denver.
human instinct, your human instinct
Gut.
and emotion could I mean, it could be very scary to do that. Like John Elway had to step away from picking quarterbacks. Like this is like it's getting embarrassing. I keep picking losers, and they can't find themselves like the Giants can't find an O-line. This team can't find a quarterback ever since Peyton and Manning. And
Well, they got to keep
it's gotta
swinging,
be a
man.
fear.
They need a quarterback,
Yeah, and I'm not even saying like what they should or shouldn't do. I'm just saying like it is a fear. Like it happens. Like this is the type of thing that happens. Like every time you do something, it's like every time I go swimming, I almost drown. It's like, man, I don't want to get in the water anymore. I don't want to take a shower no more. I don't want to take a bath anymore. I'm scared of sprinklers. It's just a human. It's just a
Scared of
human.
sprinklers.
Just a human emotion. Like we're humans. Like this is what I'm trying to say. Is like I think there is this kind of wall, this kind of thing, this kind of fear right now, and that's the first thing that pops in my mind. Oh boy, I don't want to draft the next Drew Lock. Like it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be amplified. So, and number 9, man, that's oh god, that's so high.
I don't expect him to be picked number 1 overall. I'll say that much. So if that worries you, that hey, quarterback not picked with the first overall pick, why would I take him as the first quarterback? I get that concern completely because I have that same concern as well.
Kale
Yeah, I was
says,
going to pull that up.
it's talking about Matt Corral, I believe, right? Matt Corral reminds me of Teddy Bridgewater before all the injuries. When he says he, I mean, when Kale says he's talking
I think
about
he
Matt
is talking
Corral.
about Corral.
Yeah. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean,
Teddy was
the
pretty
dual threat
dynamic.
ability is there. Say that again?
Teddy was pretty dynamic before that injury.
Yeah, he was. Minnesota, right? Minnesota Vikings. He led them to the playoffs. And then
he went to the Saints after that, I believe. But you're right. It was in Minnesota.
He did pretty well with the Saints, too. 5-0.
Everybody does well on the Saints.
True.
Except in Book.
Except Ian Book, yeah.
That's when you start the opposing defense.
Right. Right.
That's when they called Drew Brees' hair plugs, and it was like, can you come play?
You ready to come back?
Like, dude, we have Ian
Please come back, right?
Like, dude, Ian Book started. We're not making playoffs, dude. Come back. Like, you're better than Ian Book. I know you haven't practiced in like 8 months. Like, come on.
He sent him a picture of him golfing, I believe, by the way, and said, "Yeah, right." Something like that.
Drew Brees?
I believe that was the story.
Yeah.
Actually, the more I'm thinking about it, I kind of do like Teddy Bridgewater as a comparison. I mean, I think he could be better than Teddy Bridgewater. But I'm
What
starting
about his
to.
arm? Is his arm better than
I think his
Tay?
arm is a little stronger. I would say
I would
that's
think
the
so,
only,
looking at tape.
yeah, that's the only thing I would say is different. But definitely the rushing ability and kind of the size and the way they look,
Yeah.
similar, very similar. Next guy we
So
have though,
I was gonna say, what do you think about Pickett?
same thing. Also, in the running to be the QB1, top 10, top 5 upside, NFL draft, something like that. He's a little bigger, right? Corral was 6'2", 205.
Yep.
This guy is Kenny Pickett, 6'3", 220. Obviously, he's an athletic playmaker. I know you. Maybe you want to talk about that play.
I love it.
Yeah, go ahead.
He went for a slide, right? So he's out of the pocket. He's running down the field, maybe 10, 15 yards at this point. He goes to slide. He fakes the slide. The defenders think he's going to slide, so they stop pursuing. He takes it to the house. Another 20, 30-yard tack on to that original run for a touchdown. I'll try to pull it up just so I can tell you who he played against in that case. But you got to see this, Brain. It was a great play.
Kenny Pickett is the guy that people are picking to go to Panthers according to mock draft consensus.
Really? Okay. Well, he did go to Pittsburgh and play for the Panthers of Pittsburgh, so that's kind of some irony there. But I think if he went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, stayed in Pittsburgh, oh man, that would be nice.
That would be beautiful. That's my pick, actually.
Yeah,
I think he'll go to the Steelers. So this was against Wake Forest in the ACC championship game. It was in the first quarter. He basically faked the slide and took it for about 30, 40 yards. He's pretty quick. He can get outside of the pocket, but I think his throwing ability is actually his best trait.
Oh yeah, so he's an experienced thrower, right? Great mechanics, great polished mechanics.
Good touch.
Good touch. Arm strength is definitely going to translate to the next level, right?
Yeah, I wanted you to. Can we get some drama here? I think this will hopefully.
No, this is more drama for us.
Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah.
Amar says Kenny Pickett is a fifth-year senior, which is a huge red flag for me, regardless of position. He did kind of come out of nowhere a little bit too.
Yeah, that's true. He could have been drafted last year, chose to stay, get one more year of experience under his belt.
So not out of nowhere, but he was coming from a late draft pick to now early, maybe top 10.
Yeah, right. One of the first quarterbacks taken. One of the weaknesses, though, you're saying as a thrower, he, good touch. He's pretty good. He does tend to rely on these kind of highlight reel. He wants to make the cool plays. When he has those nice mechanics, he should rely on those, learn to rely on those more, learn to, just have those as his, when it's late in the game, when it's important, when you have to make the play, instead of trying to, make a highlight cool looking, throw on the run.
Spectacular play.
Spectacular play, right? Some pizzazz. Just keep it cool, keep it clean, make the play. Big problem there is that he tends to force the ball sometimes a little bit, and then we get to the interceptions. I mean, he had 7 this year, right? That's not a lot, but that's not a little either. So, he definitely is guilty of making some mistakes because he's forcing it a little bit too much and trying to make a play when all he can just do is just sit back, relax, and just fire to his receiver. So both of these guys, it kind of depends on where they go in the NFL draft. If they're taken first as a QB1, probably going to go in the top half of your rookie draft, I would think. Super flex, right? So we're talking like picks 1 through 6, somewhere like that. I would say both of these guys, whoever the QB1 and QB2 of the NFL draft is, probably both of them would be gone by like the 108. I think that's my best guess for you. It really just is going to depend on your league and what positions team needs. I know a lot of people are going to know that wide receivers are the best, so maybe wide receivers go earlier. Running backs are important. There's a couple good ones, so maybe they get pushed up draft as well. People know it's a bad quarterback class or a weak quarterback class, but at the same time, if the Steelers get one of these guys, or the Saints get one of these guys, or the Broncos, those are pretty good fits. Could be excited. exciting prospects.
I was waiting for you to say, do you think this is total BS, or do you think this is this nothing burger? Is this something? Is a 5th-year senior a red flag for you?
It's not a red flag, but I mean, it does definitely bring up the question, okay, why did they not declare when they could have, which is in their after their 3rd season, right? You can actually declare for the NFL draft after you're a junior. So him being a 5th-year senior means he passed up on entering junior season eligibility. Then he passed up again for a 2nd season when he was a senior. And now he's basically like a 3rd ballot, basically. He's like a 3rd ballot NFL draft, if you want
But
to call
isn't
it
this the thing that we argue about? What's the age breakout year?
Exactly. It's one of those
This is the same. This is
right?
basically the same thing, right? Breakout year, analytics.
Pretty much. That's pretty much the extent of it.
I mean, but what we're concerned about more is like a Zach Wilson type of thing, right? Where he wasn't really on people's boards until this very last year, but which does happen a lot in college. Now, is that concerning, or is that just? I mean, something to note.
I mean, yeah, it's something to note, but I mean, we saw Joe Burrow. Who was Joe Burrow 1 year before he had that insane year? He was going to be like a 5th round, 6th round draft pick at best. It's kind of the same thing with Kenny Pickett, right?
Yeah, that's what the guy was talking about on my podcast, was like breakout age and Joe Burrow, and like everybody was clowning him. Like it was so, and I was laughing. Like it was a great podcast though, but
yeah,
I was just laughing at that.
Case, though.
I was like, dude, he's special. I mean, he's even better than I thought now. Like Joe Burrow's playing.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah, he's way better than I could have imagined too.
Yeah, and it just turns out, because we've never seen it, just turns out that everyone on the LSU team was just fired. The coach was fired, the quarterback was fired, and at least the top 2 wide receivers were fired. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was not fired.
Fired in college.
Well, come on.
In college, he was great. Oh yeah.
Come on, dude. I think if us 3, running back committee on that LSU team, we'd get a pretty high rip. We'd get a good yards per carry, 4.0, 4.1.
We'd get the 4, definitely.
We have to catch though. Like you got to catch in this offense. You got to be able to catch.
Got to have hands for sure.
Yeah. So that's that's the offense. Everything was just fire, and we may never see a college offense anywhere as good as that ever. That's how good it was.
That's true. That's how good it was at that point.
It was perfect.
So here's a comment. Here's a comment from Kale. He says for Kenny Pickett, his player comp would be Derek Carr. Could become a solid starter, but just doesn't see a superstar upside.
But just can't win a playoff game.
Oh, I have that same comp written down, which is cool. Derek Carr. So I think Mel Kiper Jr. also has Derek Carr as the comp. So
we got to read this too.
MJ23 says to Amar, "You are delusional." He says but
you're delusional talking about the 5th-year senior and the essentially breakout age and all that. Yeah.
Well, that would bring up the same question for Jameson Williams, that wide receiver we were talking about last week or a couple weeks back. He only had a good final season. He was just a total kind of just an extra body at Ohio State, transferred to Alabama, boomed in 1 year. Now he's in the draft. So it's the same kind of thing, that breakout age, whatever.
Put it all together.
Is it a red flag? If you want it to be a red flag for you, if you're into that, it can be. For me, I don't care too much about it. But those are basically the top 2 quarterbacks, Drew. Matt Corral, Kenny Pickett.
Well, we got a few more for you guys. So let's move on to the next 2 guys we got. Now, we're thinking that these 2 guys could still be first-round picks for sure. It could be that 1 or maybe 2 of them sneak into like the top half of the first round, like the top 15. It's possible, just depending on how the teams approach this quarterback situation or quarterback carousel. But we got Sam Howell out of North Carolina for him. He threw 3,000 yards, 24 pass touchdowns. He had 9 interceptions. He did rush, though. Both of these guys are dual threat, meaning they can run the ball as almost as good as they can pass in some cases, or for Malik probably. Rush for 822 yards, 11 rush touchdowns. That was for Sam. And then we have Malik Willis out of Liberty. So he passed for only 2,800 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. So he kind of racked up the picks. But he did gain 878 yards on the ground. He actually had 200-yard games, 13 rush touchdowns. So, I mean, these guys definitely can put it in the end zone, but I'm a little bit skeptical on their passing ability, both of them, actually.
Yeah, so I would say I'm more concerned about one guy's passing ability than the other.
Definitely
Sam
Malik.
Howell, let's go over Sam Howell first. He's the one he's a little bit better in the passing game, right? He's actually probably, in terms of deep ball passers, probably one of the better ones in this class, just because he has a really strong arm and he's got this natural deep ball accuracy, right? In terms of the prototype, right? Kind of tough to say. He's not a pocket passer like a statue. At the same time, he's not like an uber playmaker, right? But he is mobile. So I'm gonna call him like a mobile pocket passer. Like he's a pass first guy for sure, but he definitely has some speed to him. He can definitely get some rushing yards. He's not like Matt Ryan or like Tom Brady or Mac Jones or something like that. I think he's very similar to Baker Mayfield, right? Passer.
I thought the same thing.
Has some rushing ability, same size, kind of similar look as well. And then, like you said,
Baker had it in college. He doesn't have rushing ability in the NFL. It did not translate.
That's true. Yeah,
he gets chased down from behind all the time.
We saw that his first game.
Well, he
saw that his first.
He can move around, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. He's not slow. He's
mobile.
He doesn't get a lot of rushing yards, but yeah, he can
kind of the same thing for Sam Howell, I think.
I would say Tony Romo can move around better than Baker, and Tony Romo's was never a great rusher, but he scrambled really well.
Different. Yeah, that's the thing. They moved a little.
He avoided the rush.
I guess he did avoid the rush.
Yeah, spin moves and ran away and
20 yards backwards, and then he'd throw it down the field for a completion.
See, Baker, his really didn't translate, and then that was Johnny Manziel as well, another Browns quarterback who just totally relied on just flinging it. He could close his eyes, get 5 touchdowns. He didn't need anything, and that really didn't translate in the NFL. And he could get absolutely crushed. Some small dude running around, not quite as fast as you were in college compared to the other players, and that didn't translate. So you're saying Sam Howell, even though he's got good rushing stats, you're saying it's probably not going to translate into getting those same rushing stats in the NFL.
Yeah, I think his rushing skills are more of like a real life football type of thing, where it's like, okay, he's mobile, he's not a statue, he can kind of, he's a little fluid in the pocket, and he's not going to really like 50 yards rushing in a game. I don't think so. I don't really see that happening for you in fantasy. But again, the point is he's not a statue Matt Ryan type.
Tom Brady.
Oh, my favorite statue is always Phillip Rivers. He doesn't move at all.
Oh my God. Hall of Famer though.
Kale's got a good
comp. Nope, it's not. We debunked that here on the fantasy couch. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
We've debunked that. Don't worry. I got a lot of people yelling at me, and no one's yelling at me anymore. No one thinks he's a Hall of Famer anymore. He's not.
So
the only reason Rivers would be Hall of Famer is the position he played. There's so many way better football players out.
That's
true. The one that Frank Gore is a Hall of Famer. That's easy. He's a Hall of Famer. So it's we got people like that. They're way better. I'd much rather have Julian Edelman in the Hall of Fame
than Phillip Rivers.
Julian Edelman made huge. He's got some of the best catches ever in the history of football. What does Phillip Rivers have? Some of the biggest chokes in fantasy football. Some of the biggest yelling I said fantasy in the NFL in the history of the NFL. Most kids, yeah, I know.
The most trash talking without swearing.
Yeah, what? Yeah, I mean that's what we know Phillip Rivers for. Let's be honest, right? That's his story, yeah. And it's I feel like that doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. He was a really good quarterback for a while, and he's expired. And Phillip Rivers, to me, he stands for what the NFL used to be. Now everyone's like Sam Howell. Now everyone's mobile. there was a time where Phillip Rivers, it was a different era. Phillip Rivers, Adrian Peterson, that was a different era. Now we're no longer in that era anymore. One of the good running backs we just saw last week was Jerick McKinnon.
That's true.
And he's catching balls. He's a big player. He
finally flashed that potential.
He crushed that team, dude. He crushed the Steelers.
He looked good.
He looked great. And
finally, about time.
That's what this is, right? Adrian Peterson turns into more of like a Jerick McKinnon or Austin Eckler. Like these are the new types of running backs. And Phillip Rivers, it's once Tom Brady retires and Matt Ryan and all them, like there's going to be like 0 statues in the league. That's true.
It's all going to be dual threat quarterbacks.
Or we got a statue coming up.
Or at least mobile, like it's like a Tony Romo or someone who could run around a little bit. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, speaking of a dual threat quarterback, there's probably no other true rushing threat than Malik Willis.
Definitely.
He's probably known for his rushing more than his passing, I would say. Right? Comparison. Tough to say. He's not Lamar Jackson because he's a little bigger. I would say the size kind of reminds me of Josh Allen because he is a little bigger, thicker built. His arm, probably Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts type of arm because he's not exactly the most refined. I mean, there's definitely something there. Like Jalen Hurts doesn't have a bad arm. There's something to build around, but it's not a great arm. And then running ability, maybe Taysom Hill, because Taysom Hill is kind of like that physical runner. Like
that's a good comp.
Like a running back type of runner. So I think if you put all 3 of those guys into one, that's what you're getting with Malik Willis. Again, the passing inconsistencies and the issues with turnovers is a thing. This guy, again, he went to Liberty, so the competition he's playing, not too good. He threw 3 interceptions in multiple games.
He did start at Auburn, so he had that Auburn pedigree, so to speak, to get into college football. But you're right. He transferred to Liberty, and that's where he is going to
play the bulk of his games.
but Josh Allen is 6'5", 237.
I feel you, but like
I think he's much bigger. I mean, why can't you just say he's like Jalen Hurts? Period.
Because he's
physical running style.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Jalen Hurts
physical dominance is not the same.
Yeah, you got to see some of his tapes. He's got physical, like he'll run it over DBs kind of thing. I've seen him take on linebackers.
Sounds like Trey Lance.
Yeah, maybe Trey Lance.
A little bit.
But he's not as smart as Trey Lance. I would say that. And the passing is not the same as Trey Lance. Same arm strength is not
close.
Trey Lance is a way stronger arm. Way stronger.
I got you.
But that's basically Malik Willis.
Not necessarily this exact size of Josh Allen, but you're saying he plays big.
He plays big. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, where are you going to take him in your rookie draft, right? Kind of depends, I think, on the landing spot, right? I really like the Steelers and the Saints. If he goes on the Steelers or the Saints, I maybe would be tempted to put him as QB1 just because I think that would be a great fit. Sean Payton is really, he would probably know how to use Malik Willis properly. Malik Willis in a black and gold Steeler uniform, that would just look amazing, I think.
I think you're right.
Those are the 2 landing spots I'd really like. If he goes to Denver or something, I don't know, because Denver, you kind of want someone who can pass it, right?
Stretch the field.
Steelers, again, running the ball there. Najee Harris and him. Go to the Saints. You got Alvin Kamara and Malik Willis. Those are some good, those are some sexy pairings, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Those are to happen. Same kind of thing, right? Top 6-ish pick. Let's say he goes to a team like Washington, maybe, or something like not as ideal. 1 quarterback league, definitely round 2, I would think, as most of these quarterbacks would be. Maybe then if he's going to like a Washington thing, maybe like an early round 2 super flex pick, late round 1, something like that. Depends on how badly you need a quarterback and how many quarterbacks have been taken off the board. But again, kind of high variance for Malik Willis based on landing spot, I would say.
Yeah, and that sums up the top 4 guys we have so far. We're going to actually move on to the last 2. And so these 2 guys, it is possible. It is possible that they sneak into the back half of, say, the NFL first round, but we're thinking they're more day 2 picks at the, in the second round, that is. So we have Desmond Ridder out of Cincinnati. I know Amar's still here. He's not really a big Desmond Ridder fan, but he's 6'4", so he's more that Josh Allen type frame. 215 though, very, very much a thin beanpole for 6'4".
Yeah, Josh Allen height, and that's about
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
That's where it ends.
3,300 yards passing this year, 30 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He did lead them to the college football playoff, which is another thing I didn't add in here, but something
Undefeated
to note.
season, right?
Well, they lost that last game.
Well, yeah, right.
Before that.
Before that.
And then threw for 300 yards in 2 games, had 3 pass TDs in 5 games. And then Carson Strong. This is a name that most people probably haven't heard of unless you listened to us, a month or 2 ago. But he's out of Nevada. He's 6'4", 215. Very similar, these guys. Completed 70% of his passes, though. He had 4,100 yards. And then he also had 36 pass touchdowns. He did play lesser competition, but he had 9 games with 300 yards passing. And then 2 of those games, he had 400 yards passing. So, I mean, this guy can definitely throw it down the field, but we're looking at Carson Strong being more of the statuesque quarterback. Desmond Ridder has that more playmaking ability, I would say. But there still is some question marks around both guys.
Oh, dude, I'm not drafting any statues in fantasy.
No. Not even like a Mac Jones guy?
Yeah, with Mac Jones, I like him because this is before the season, right? We're talking about before we seen him play an NFL game. I only liked him because of the price tag, to be honest, because a lot of people did hate him. And you can get him so cheap, and that's why I liked him. But if I just had to choose, I would just say, look, I'm not drafting any statues because why would I? Because it's all about rushing stats. And even in a 6-point touchdown league where you get 6 fantasy points for a passing touchdown, rushing stats are still big for quarterbacks. They give you a nice floor. You saw Jalen Hurts didn't play that well this year a lot of times. And even when Jalen Hurts was absolute trash, he put up 20 fantasy points.
That's true. Fantasy football is definitely a different beast than
reality. We're a fantasy football channel.
Yeah.
We're a fantasy football brand. So that's what always going to be our main focus. We'll talk about regular NFL a lot, in real life NFL, as the youngsters call it, IRL. Sure.
Right.
But we're always going to have always fantasy football is going to be our focus. And Konami code, which is a played out concept because everyone has it now, it seems like. And it's like, I would rather have someone with the Konami code who can get me 11 rush yards per game. That's 1.1 bonus points per game, and has the ability to scramble when things are bad. I mean, I like it. There's also worries that you could be like Jalen Hurts or Lamar when he's going through struggles and be like, oh my God, there's ways to like freeze this guy, like the blue screen of death on a window. Like there's ways that you can throw something at them and they just freeze up and can't get anything done. And so that is a worry too, but I'd rather have a guy who can rush and get out of situations than not. I think it's becoming a standard baseline skill in the NFL.
Well, that's true. With that being said, I think Carson Strong, then for you, Brain, should just be off your list completely because the single most glaring, largest red flag on his resume is the fact that he has 0 rushing upside.
But what's his price tag is the thing.
Price tag is probably going to be super flex round 2. I would say, because again, there's going to be 4 quarterbacks taken ahead of him. Because
that means he can fall to round 3.
He could fall to round
possible. 3. Possible, yeah.
One quarterback, I think he can definitely fall to round 3. In a super flex,
one quarterback. Oh no, he's falling away. You don't play one.
Probably even like
I can tell by the way you're talking right now. You don't play one quarterback.
He has one.
I have one quarterback.
CFL.
He's not even drafted.
He's fallen way farther than
further than that.
yeah, some jerk's gonna take him like take him late. Yeah, no one because no when you're gonna like you don't want to start this guy. In a 1 QB league, it's like some of these 1 QB dynasty leagues you can pick up a quarterback off waivers. Not often, like it's not regular, but you can sometimes find a quarterback off waivers. Like in a super flex league, you can't even get PJ Walker off waivers.
I just picked up Dwayne Haskins and Mason Rudolph in the Captains League. I think they were sleeping. Although I don't think either one are going to be anything.
Hey, well, you never know. Good ads.
You just never know.
I mean,
good ads for now.
I think it's because it's a $10 league. Is that
no?
$10?
It's a 40. It's 40.
Oh,
it's the Captains
League. It's a real league, and you got. Yeah, you shouldn't be. Yeah, you shouldn't have been able to. Is that Superflex?
Yeah, it's a Superflex league. I'm telling you, I don't know how I picked him up.
That's pretty ridiculous to me.
That's not bad, dude.
That's
not bad at all.
No, it's ridiculous because right now, if I go to my 1 QB league, I'm pretty sure Mason Rudolph got picked up like a month ago in a 1 QB league. So yeah, that's pretty. But anyway, Carson Strong, he's gonna he'll get drafted way later. Like he'll be like round 4 probably.
Okay, for sure.
Because you want to draft that depth at running back because running backs go down and people like wide receivers and then there's the tight ends. Because people don't like reaching for tight ends if it's not tight end premium. So there's just so many other directions people would go. I think he'd fall.
Yeah, I could definitely see him fall to round 3 in Superflex maybe, and we can talk over the order in the first 2 rounds more in detail. I think once you do that hack your rebuild thing, it's coming up.
You want to tease that?
Sure, we can. Why not?
Well, we have some questions too. So if anybody
I wanted to bring this one up.
Anyone has any questions? Now's the time to ask. Sure. We want to answer every single.
Yeah,
question.
We will answer Dak's question here in a moment.
We have time. So any dynasty or literally any football question or any question, it's called Ask Me Anything. Any question you guys have, we want to answer before we end this podcast.
I want Sushane to address this real quick, if you don't mind, Brain. So Kale says Carson Strong is the Davis Mills of this draft. Kind of meh. What do we say to that?
I kind of like it. So Davis Mills went to Stanford, right? He's a Stanford guy. So
Stanford guy, second round pick. Very similar in that sense. We're thinking.
Yeah, very, very similar. I like this comparison a lot, actually, because both of them are more of the mental type of quarterback. In addition to no rushing upside, right? Let's go beyond that. High IQ players. Davis Mills, I know at least in college, was one of those guys who did the pre-snap kind of reads and everything. Carson Strong does the same type of stuff with that. Just good, good mechanics overall. Good pocket passers, right? So I kind of like what he's saying with Davis Mills because also we know Davis Mills' upside was definitely capped. Everyone knew that. He's not going to be a star in the NFL, but maybe he could be a serviceable starter, but not a star. So I kind of like it. Carson Strong could be a serviceable starter. Is he going to be a stud in the NFL? Doubt it, especially for fantasy football with no rushing upside. Probably not. So I like this one. Carson Strong is the Davis Mills of this draft. Kind of meh. I think Cale Nelson hit it on the head.
So what do we think about possible landing spots for these two guys? You got Desmond Ridder and you got Carson Strong. What teams do you think would match well with these two guys?
Well, first of all, are these guys falling to round 3?
We're saying round 2 in the NFL
I think round
draft.
2. Round 2 would be the spot where I think I would put some money on all right, my bet is round 2 for these guys, I think.
So you think all 6 of these guys are going to go in the first 2 rounds?
Yep, I would say so. Looks like
just because quarterbacks are
quarterbacks. They're not. I don't think they're deserving necessarily, but I mean that's just the NFL.
They need to just start putting head coaches in these drafts now because they're getting fired so much.
Yeah, for real, man.
I mean, they gotta. This was so abnormal. I don't even remember when this started, but I'm pretty sure there wasn't that many head coaching vacancies back when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure.
I know for the last 5, 6, 7 years at least, there's always been about 7 to 8 vacancies.
It's crazy.
Give or less,
Well, we're used to coaches like Don Shula and Bill Walsh and Seifert, like stability for years,
But even wasn't Landry Tom? Was that Cowboys?
He was a Cowboys coach for a long time.
Yeah, even they're just. I mean, like
they were fixtures.
but he got fired eventually. But it took a while. I mean, it just was.
Who took over?
different.
Jimmy Johnson, was it?
Jimmy
Or
Johnson
Yeah,
was. Yep.
yeah.
Jimmy
And
Johnson
that's the
took
dinner.
over.
They have that famous picture of that incident, that dinner.
Otherwise,
Niners
the Niners would have like 49 Super Bowls if not for that hire.
maybe.
Cowboys
Cowboys,
killed.
yeah,
That was the
that
ultimate
was the best
rivalry.
at that point.
That's why I was looking so forward to this game. I was like, hey, it's kind of old school right now, right? We got Jerry Jones, Cowboys. Was Troy Aikman commentating?
No,
No,
he
gonna
wanted
commentate.
to.
Oh, okay.
He said actually in the game before
Tony
he was
Romo was commentating.
Tony Romo.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Tony
I
Romo.
loved hearing Tony Romo on that last Dak drive. It's hilarious. This
The
is so
last
funny.
Dak
But
drive.
yeah, it's old school, man. Niners, Cowboys, one more time. I was like, man, this is the old school rivalry right here. People don't know about that. They don't know.
Did you hear
who was that
Kittle's
tight
press
end?
conference?
Clark with the that catch, right?
Dwight Clark with the
The
catch.
Niners.
Yeah, Dwight Clark. That's
Brent
his name.
Jones played a big part in that rivalry in the 90s.
Oh yeah, man. That,
But yeah,
that was
Kittle
a-
actually said after the game, he said that the Niner players, since a lot of them are young, right, that Kyle Shanahan wanted to introduce them to Niner history. And so that George said he feels like they stand on the shoulders of legends. And I'm sure Cowboys players could say
nice.
the same thing because they represent an organization, a franchise with so many great players, and that rivalry renewed, so to speak, in that game, really gave him a sense of pride for being on the 49ers in that sense.
Well, a lot of those guys are still relevant too, so it's not like they're totally like, who's that? Because like when we did the John Madden and Mooch charity events, I mean, you see a lot of these guys. So Mooch is very relevant. He's on NFL Network. Steve Young's on ESPN. Everyone knows who he is. Michael Irving, CeeDee Lamb wears the same jersey number. Tony Romo's commentating. Then right after, you got Troy Aikman commentating. Like, well, Emmitt Smith does Just for Men hair coloring because he can't talk, but
he didn't have any commercials during the game, I don't think.
Nah, he can barely film a commercial. Not everyone has the John Madden swag to do commercials or Troy Aikman swag, but yeah, a lot of these guys are still very relevant, man. And yeah, I was really looking forward to it. And now we got another type of rivalry with the Niners because we stupidly passed up on Aaron Rodgers and drafted Alex Smith. So
yeah, that is
Aaron Rodgers. He wants to beat the Niners. I already know.
Trey Lance, though. Here we go. It's time next year.
What is that? Next
era.
I thought you meant this week. I was like, oh,
this week. No, it's probably we need Jimmy G.
We're talking about this Jimmy G injury conspiracy already, and then I got that brewing. So
yeah, well, Jimmy G is going to be out. So I mean, real quickly, since we're talking about quarterbacks, where does Jimmy Garoppolo go in 2022?
Oh God, you keep scaring me with this Dynasty. I thought you were talking about this week. I'm like, whoa. Jimmy G's gonna be out. I mean, we're playing.
Dynasty here.
There's still we are, but this is a tangent. But I mean, the Niners are playing a big game, really soon here, like in almost a few hours, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. So he kind of scared me. Jimmy G has like two and a half injuries.
Yeah, he just said Jimmy G's out too. It was like, he meant to say out next season.
Next season. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know we got the quarterback slide up here, but all right, we'll get back to Dynasty talk. Let's answer people's questions here.
Well, no, do you want to tell them about some possible landing spots and maybe even a NFL comp to Desmond Ridder?
Yeah,
I think you have a good one.
So we can start with Carson Strong. We were talking about him first. So he is a statue, right? So he needs a good offensive line. I know we talked about the Colts being a possible team who may want a quarterback, although Carson Wentz is still definitely serviceable. But hey, I mean, maybe Carson Strong, get a different Carson to Indianapolis, could be in play. You said you liked my comparison to Desmond Ridder, right?
Yeah.
So he's 6'4", so he's a tall guy, 215. He's a slim guy. He's also got really, really long legs, kind of similar to Colin Kaepernick. Long strides. Not really fast, but he can just cover a lot of ground when he's running with the football because he's got those long limbs.
He doesn't have the same fastball though.
No, it doesn't
Colin
have the
had a
same
major fastball.
That is true. I think Colin Kaepernick had some accuracy issues though with that fastball, and
Wild
Desmond
thing.
Ritter's accuracy might be even worse. Honestly,
Aye.
Oh,
not good.
now wait,
Oh, I
Kaepernick
laid
was,
you a softball
Kaepernick
there.
was really good in the beginning, and then his accuracy got
Just
extremely
dwindled.
bad. So you're talking about the late Kaepernick when
Super
he
Bowl
was
run cap.
Yes,
hitting,
Super Bowl
hitting
run
people in
Kaepernick
the
would be like
head
a
on the
rushing ability.
sidelines.
Right.
That was
Then there
so
was
embarrassing.
yeah. So he's got definitely an accuracy issue. It comes with bad, and you know how they always talk about timing, touch, and anticipation. Desmond Ritter has pretty poor anticipation, I would say, on the routes. So he's got to definitely anticipate routes better, throw the ball a little sooner than when he is, and again, get a more accurate ball placement when he's delivering those passes. Aside from that, though, I mean, rushing ability, it's there, like Colin Kaepernick had it. So I think that's going to be Desmond Ritter. For a landing spot, maybe Washington.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? I don't know. This is
I
a
can
tough
see
one.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely can see it.
You think Detroit would want a quarterback with Jared Goff and
If they could get him in the second round, because they're not going to spend their number 2 overall pick on
definitely right, but they would be
Ritter.
picking. Are they picking 2 in round 2? So
Ooh,
that's the
nice.
34th overall pick. If they are,
I'm
then
gonna have to
maybe
check
Desmond
that
Ritter,
out.
because I'm thinking he could fall in that early round 2, early day 2 range. So maybe the Lions might not be a terrible idea. But aside from that, that's basically the 2022 quarterbacks. There might be other guys like from the FCS who maybe pop up or something like that, but probably not going to get a whole lot of draft hype surrounding them. These 6 guys are basically the ones who are in the running to be selected in your super flex mock drafts.
So the Lions do have their second round pick, by the way. So that's what you had asked earlier.
Yeah.
They could take him with the 34th overall selection.
That could be interesting. Either one of these guys, too, Desmond Ritter or Carson Strong, because I know
What about
they're
Atlanta?
slowly building.
What about Atlanta at number 43 in the second round?
Yeah, Atlanta too.
I mean even Houston
Matt Ryan's
could
a
bring in
huge
some
cap hit, so
competition.
they're going to keep him, but developing guy. Houston, you said?
I'm just thinking
I
maybe
don't
they
even
bring in
know.
some
I mean,
competition.
you could be right about Houston, but honestly, I just have no freaking idea what they're doing right now. Davis Mills, Deshaun Watson, like it's tough to say what they're even planning. But hey, you could be right. Houston could be a destination for these guys.
What about the Browns? They got their 44th overall selection. Does that maybe signal change of regime there?
Sucks. They need to do something about that.
That could be a sneaky pick.
They have to decide this offseason on him, right? On Baker?
Well, they're looking to keep him.
I think they did agree to his 5th-year option. So they have to agree to the extension.
Pick that up?
I believe so. Let me check.
5th year was picked up. I know that.
But they're gonna keep him, I think. But when we talk about Odell Beckham, like we always look at the memes. It's always funny, but it's very serious when you see, right? Was it 7 touchdowns or something with the Rams and like whatever wide receiver touchdowns total for the Browns? Like it's pretty ridiculous. So like 6 total touchdowns in a Browns uniform and 7 in a Rams uniform, and it's like. It's pretty obvious. I think everyone sees this. I've talked to nobody that's like Baker is still good. Like everyone knows like he sucks. He missed Odell. Like it's just funny how the world we live in right now. It's very serious. Like Odell Beckham's dad's mixtape. Or he just
we're calling it.
We're calling it a mixtape now.
Yeah, he just hit screen record on some other YouTuber, like to be quite frank. But he posted it. I mean, it was there. Like you can't argue with the film. There. He was not hitting Odell. Odell was wide open. It was ridiculous. And Baker's not it. Like I think you got a great coach and a great team. And if you had a great quarterback, that's Super Bowl to me. We see even a great quarterback helps fix the defense. Right? When Patrick, it's no coincidence. Now, it was a lot more to it. Don't get me wrong. Once Patrick Mahomes stopped throwing picks this year, Chiefs defense became really good, night and day. Chiefs defense was, some would say, the worst in the beginning.
It was pretty bad, yeah.
And now they're at least like bottom 3, right? And sometimes when I looked at DFS and did research, I would consider the Chiefs to be the worst defense. So now the Chiefs defense is good. Like, that's how much a good quarterback can change the team. And Baker's not it. I think Baker is horrible, man. I don't even know if Baker's like a top 29 quarterback. Well, his backup his backup better? Is Case Keenum better?
Possible, actually.
Legit question.
Legit
So that's what
that's fair.
So like when I say that, I know some people could laugh. Top 29. Like, I mean, Case Keenum is not good, and it's his backup, and he could be better. Like, his backup could be better than him, or at least they're the same
close,
tier, same level. Yeah,
close
it's like
enough.
So. Yes, I'm talking about backups could be better than him. Trey Lance and Jimmy G, both better than Baker Mayfield.
Mariota's probably better. He's a backup.
There we go. Mariota. I mean, it's a question. I don't know. Yeah, Mariota and Carr, both of them could be better than Baker, right? Carson Wentz better than Baker. Like, it's just every quarterback in the playoffs this year better than Baker for sure. And sometimes they're
he's the guy who's holding that team back, because around Baker Mayfield, offensive line, skill position, guys on defense, it's all the pieces are in place. So hey, if they do choose to pick an upgrade this year, that would be a nice, tasty landing spot for any of these guys we just talked about.
Skill positions was in place. I don't know, after they got rid of Odell. Not true. I mean, they still have like, I'm not saying that like their receivers suck, but like they had it. They had it pretty much perfect. You had Odell and Jarvis. That could have been like your Higgins and Chase, basically.
Yeah, and that would have been. Yeah, if it worked, it would have been pretty good.
And you screwed that up.
And Peoples Jones is the third. That would have been a decent third.
Yeah, sure. You got offense. 2 tight ends too. I mean, and running scheme, running backs.
2 great running backs.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Perfect. I mean, even Dearness Johnson was okay. Like,
yeah, he proved to be pretty good when you were on the toilet still.
Oh yeah.
He had already scored his first touchdown. You were still in the bathroom.
Forgot about that story. Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. Don't be in too many fantasy leagues, guys. That's
the moral of the story.
That's the moral. Yeah.
All right. Should we get to some questions? I do want to bring up a couple of things.
I like
here.
Baker,
you guys,
Baker's better. Wait, no. I think Goff is Baker than. I think Goff is better.
So you want to read this one? So Amar says Baker is better than Jimmy G. He also says Baker is better than Goff. Basically. Jared Goff. I was going to say Jeff Goff.
Amar is wrong for sure.
There's not really a question. It's a statement, but we'll let you
Baker
guys.
could be better than Jared Goff. I think he's definitely
the Jimmy G, but the Jimmy G just totally ruins like any take he's got after that. Like,
that's
Baker's not better than Jimmy G. Like, I haven't
Jimmy
seen
G goes to the playoffs.
I haven't seen Baker blow a Super Bowl. Like, I didn't catch that game. Jimmy G is good enough to blow a Super Bowl. Like, I didn't catch that game where Baker was winning and then he missed a couple throws. I didn't catch that game. I don't know. Show that to me.
He's good.
What about this comment from Kale?
He beat Big Ben. Ooh, wow. He beat Big Ben at the end of his career.
What do you guys think about Jimmy G to Carolina? Kale says maybe that's a good fit.
It could happen.
I feel like that's a David Tepper type move. He's impatient, so maybe Sam Darnold is done, and then he wants like a veteran type guy, because it looks like, I mean, if he's going to pass on Justin Fields, which he did last year, he probably maybe wants someone with more experience. I don't know. It just seems like a David Tepper type move to me, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I mean, it seems kind of silly to me. I mean, you're going to have to do something with Darnold at that point for sure. You don't want to have like 2 veteran quarterbacks on the roster. You'd want to have one young guy that you just drafted and one veteran.
Well, Drew, dysfunctional teams do dysfunctional things.
I mean, Darnold's been in the league for what, 3-4 years now?
But when you play with the Jets, it doesn't count. When you play with Adam Gase, it doesn't count.
That's fair.
All right, I stand corrected.
Darnold's, to me, is like a rookie.
You're so mean to Darnold.
No, I'm not. What experience does he have?
Well, you said earlier that they should
He
continue to give
proved
him a
that
chance.
He proved that ghosts and mono is real through his scientific experimentation. Like,
Ghosts
what
and
is this
mono.
experiment? What experience does he have? Like, I know he's technically a veteran, but Jimmy
think
G
that's a
has
valid point.
experience. The Jimmy G backed up.
Darnold's in his 5th year next season, so he just finished his 4th season.
5th year
For what it's
senior.
worth.
5th year senior.
You're a senior indeed.
I don't know. I
man.
mean, that's
Red
Everything
flag.
circles back around.
How many years? This 4 years with Gase? Is that or 3 years?
I think it'll be
Gase?
3 years then with Gase and then 1 with Carolina.
Yep. Okay, so
Yeah.
here's another question. This one I believe is a good question from Dak, our resident
Ooh.
Cowboys fan. What guys are you going around 109 in the rookie mock drafts? So
One
is
guys,
QB or super flex?
flex. It's super.
he
flex.
did clarify. He
Superflex?
said
Okay.
super flex. I'm going to say one guy that I think you should take if he's available at 109, and his name is George Pickens.
Love it. Love it.
I would go George Pickens if he's available at 109. Maybe even David Bell.
Yep.
Depending on how you feel or what the landing spots look like. If someone like, I can't imagine it, but maybe, Kenneth Walker III, but the other guy is Zach Charbonnet. I think I would go with Zach
Charbonnet is actually staying in school. So he's no longer in 2022, which sucks. It just a thin running back class got a little bit thinner, unfortunately.
Thanks for ruining my night.
Ooh, so
we were super high on him, actually. We weren't telling anybody that.
I was excited about Charbonnet.
We were liking that.
Other names, so you have George Pickens and David Bell. Maybe Jameson Williams, Alabama receiver. He did get hurt, but doctors say he should be completely ready to go. It's an ACL injury. We don't really worry about those in this day and age anyway. Or Jahan Dotson, the boomer bust guy, big play. Jahan Dotson equals best ball, basically.
No quarterbacks if they fall. You don't see one of the top 2 falling.
I'm not going to recommend him pick a quarterback or take a quarterback at 109.
And they
might fall to you at 109. I would not take one.
You think they probably won't fall though, because how people reach in Superflex.
They do reach in Superflex.
I think by 109, you can guarantee that one quarterback is going to be off the board. I think there's an above 50% chance that 2 are off the board.
I agree with that.
I think that's what you're looking at.
And if
one goes to the Broncos,
and if they are available, you don't recommend taking them.
I would say no. So you're looking at like the QB3, probably not. QB1 or 2, I would still, because so 109 means the top 8 players are going. So that's 3 running backs and that's 5 wide receivers. So you can actually get someone like George Pickens or Jameson Williams or Jahan Dotson. And I would take all 3 of those guys probably before my QB1, even in Superflex. Honestly, I'm just that low on this QB class and that much higher on the wide receivers at that price. So I'm not going to advise him. But hey, if you need a quarterback, because every roster is different, maybe he has the receivers closer to win now. He just needs that quarterback 2, quarterback 3. Then yeah, go ahead, take a chance. 109 is the proper price to do it. It's not like you're paying the 101 because with the 101, you're kind of expecting that you just get a stud fixture on your roster. 109 is like, okay, maybe I get like a decent starting player in my lineup. That's what I would say to that. What do you think?
This is a good comment. This is kind of a good comment because Kale says depends on the situation the top QBs land. I would say this. If someone like Matt Corral or Kenny Pickett goes to the Broncos, I think he.
All right.
I think what Drew was going to say was, what Drew was trying to say is if they end up going to Denver or something, he probably would be in the running to be chosen at the 109. And I would agree with that too, because, Denver's got a really good situation going on. We've said it a couple times now. We'll say it one more time. Noah Fant, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Javonte Williams. They got playmakers and they got some pieces on offense. It could work.
They have depth too. Albert O,
yeah.
Tim
Patrick. They got some guys. Patrick, KJ Hamilton. They got some guys.
Like 6 guys who can catch the ball. It's pretty.
Right.
It's
In
pretty
addition to
bad.
that, though, just to kind of piggyback off his point for Denver, Pittsburgh Steelers and Saints, if one of those two teams gets a quarterback, such as like a Malik Willis, I think, as the like 109 type range, quarterback 2, quarterback 3, I would be really interested in that, I think. There he
Sorry,
is. He's back.
I don't know if you guys heard I was taken over by cyborgs again. I'm not sure if you guys know that.
We finished the sentence
crazy.
for you. We did.
Good,
You
good.
finished the sentence.
I
Yeah,
was
you're-
basically saying if the Broncos get one of those two top guys, I would probably spend the 109 on them because I feel
Beautiful, that's what he
highly
said.
about that situation. Yeah.
I would agree with that too. And I would say, Drew, in addition to the Broncos, don't sleep on the Saints and the Steelers.
Good
If
point.
those two
Even the
guys really-
Panthers, possibly.
Panthers, possibly, maybe. I have way more confidence in like a Kenny Pickett Steelers, like a
Me too.
Malik Willis Saints. Like those would be really nice fits, I think.
No, I totally agree with those statements. I like Kenny Pickett to Pittsburgh. I actually been saying that for quite some time now, just because I think, the Pittsburgh connection is huge. Because Pittsburgh is like a, hardworking town. They're like appreciative of people who are from that area and think like them, most likely.
I mean, he's also 6'3", 220. He's got a nice size to him. He's not exactly like Big Ben Roethlisberger type size, but he's, Pittsburgh kind of colder weather, AFC North kind of,
Absolutely.
more intense games. Like he'll last. I think he'll do well in that environment. But basically, bottom line is it just depends on the quarterback situation, right? And how, based on the NFL draft, they're going to land in your rookie draft, and based on that, 109 is a good spot though, man, because I feel like there's a lot of value to be had at the 109. Because
let's move on to the next question.
Yeah, let's do it.
That was a long answer. What else we got?
I don't see any other questions unless.
Oh, you got more?
Couple more.
Did we read this?
No, we didn't. That's Kale's comment. Go ahead and read it.
I might be crazy, but I could see Ritter going to the Steelers in the first. Maybe he kind of has that winning pedigree and mobility that is becoming popular. Accuracy is the question mark.
Okay, here's my problem with that. Steelers have a terrible offensive line, and he does not have the type of body that's going to hold up. I get it. He's a mobile guy. He runs. But I would be very concerned if Desmond Ritter went to the Steelers from a health perspective. I don't think he'd last. I'm just going to say it right now. I don't think he'd last with a terrible offensive line. He'd be running for his life, and we saw what happened to Justin Fields when he got no protection. And Justin Fields is built a little bit more – he's way more tough, way more like – I mean, obviously the guy played through rib injuries and whatever, but Justin Fields is way more like built way sturdier than Des Ritter is. So I would be very concerned from a health perspective. What do you say, Drew? Des Ritter to the Steelers?
I don't love it. I think they need somebody who's going to pelt Deontay Johnson with targets accurately. And I think that's Kenny Pickett or Matt Corral, because Deontay Johnson's he's good when he gets 12 targets a game or more, and he racks up yards and makes big plays. And now you have Juju possibly re-signing again on a discount, maybe. Who knows? But
yeah, they would have
want
3 potent receivers, capable receivers.
Yeah, you want a passer, I believe, in Pittsburgh. Not to mention, I mean, you already have one of the best runners out of last year's class in Najee Harris. Let him run the ball. Don't worry about your quarterback running it necessarily. Now, do you want him to be mobile? Do you want him to be able to get around? Yeah, but I think Kenny Pickett or Matt Corral is the obvious choice for the Steelers if they can trade up and get one of them, if they need to trade up. But yeah, I don't like Ritter to the Pittsburgh. I like him more to Washington, like you were saying earlier. I think that's a better fit. I think it's a better fit.
Dax,
like
how many?
Oh, that is a good question. I missed.
How many years of agony will I have to endure until T-Law is good?
Okay.
Well, Urban Meyer is gone. That should fast forward the process, right? Speed it up.
Pep you up a little bit.
Yeah, it's speeding up.
I think you gotta wait 2 more. Let them get this number 1 pick in, and then let them get one more top 5 pick, presumably, in there. And then after that, then you can start your expectations of Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, etc., John Elway, whoever. Then after that, you can start going wild. Let it grow. Let the team get built a little bit.
They got the quarterback, they got the running back, and they have some guy named Josh Allen. They just need everything else on that team. They have their Josh Allen on defense.
They have a Josh Allen, yes.
And they just need everything else. It's gonna take time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and last year we were saying that they had good wide receivers, but that didn't prove to be the case necessarily.
No, yeah.
Well, Chuck got hurt, right?
He did. He was out for the season. I think it was ACL.
I don't think he's bad. I'm not going to say he's a bad receiver. He's not great.
Chenault didn't look good, though. Chenault did not look good.
That is true.
Still young, could improve. And then you have Marvin Jones, who won't be there probably when Trevor Lawrence is good, let's say.
He's too old, yeah.
Well, hey, maybe the Jaguars start dipping in the wide receiver pool, you know?
You never know.
Thick class 2022. So, hey, it could happen. But I would say 2 years. Short answer, 2 years, Dak.
And Dak says good stuff on the 1.09. Thank you. Very appreciative of the answer. I think that was the big one. I think what my question was, quarterback or no quarterback. I think that's, even though it's a basic question, it's like, okay, so you wouldn't go quarterback. And I try to avoid that too, unless you feel like he's the one, he's Neo from the Matrix. I think if you can avoid drafting a quarterback or reaching for one, that's when you're going to find a lot of value in these super flex drafts for Dynasty.
It's that and a combination of the wide receiver that you could get. I actually do feel pretty good about it. Like George Pickens, like before his injury, he was, I know Drew knows this because he's looking at my rankings constantly, but he was my WR2.
He's amazing.
Year. So, I mean, he has some real upside to him. So when you're saying, like, unless he's the one, so not only is the quarterback not the one, but the wide receiver could be the one. So that combination is just wide receiver all day at the 109, I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can get someone good.
Yep.
We have some somewhat breaking news in case you guys missed it. Adam Schefter tweets, Dak Prescott has been fined $25,000 for his post-game comments related to the game officials per sources. I think this was about
the trash
they
being
were
thrown
throwing,
at the
they were throwing trash at the Cowboys players supposedly, but then he found out it was the refs that they were throwing the trash at, the Cowboys fans. All the ones that were crying that are all over the place.
Those memes are everywhere, man.
Freaky pictures. Apparently all Cowboys fans cry like they just got done watching
ugly cries.
Titanic.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't understand. So those fans threw stuff at the refs. They weren't that accurate with their throws, because they hit some of the Cowboys players. And to that, Dak said, "Oh, good." Oh, good, they threw it at the refs.
That's credit to them, is what he said.
And Dak has a lot of money. He's got I don't know if he's still got the Oikos, but he's definitely, he's got the Campbell's chunky. Oh man, that's, he's got that chunky soup money.
Yeah, it's a slap on the wrist. It's fine.
He's got the mattress. One side is hot, one side is cold. Like kind of like him. Like sometimes he's good, sometimes he chokes when he plays, against teams above 500. And he's also got the new contract. So yeah, to him, it's not even a sweat. This is like
it's a good explanation, good metaphor.
Yeah, this is just what this is like nothing to him. So he's like, whatever.
Yeah, slap on the wrist.
Yeah, he's got the money. For a player that's on the bubble, this is terrible. That's a lot of money. But to Dak, no, that's all good. That's like 7 mattresses. Like it's all good. Like you could just sell the 7 mattresses he's got for free from that company.
Exactly. It's basically the NFL saying, "Hey, stop doing this," and he'll be like, "All right, whoops.
Yeah,
won't do it again. I'll keep my."
It's more about his reputation. He wants to be a good boy, so that's really where it hurts. Yeah, he wants to be known as a good, respectful dude, and overall, he is. Like he's a good dude.
So Dak says, "LMAO." What the heck? Goodness, we threw trash.
Yeah, you guys the Cowboys fans took the biggest L from that loss, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You guys cried.
Not a good look.
Tried to throw trash at the refs, ended up being thrown at the players, and then the players blocked it with their helmets. Like it's just a funny disaster.
And they were blaming the refs for penalties that were legit. Like if you go back and watch the penalties that were committed,
Clear-cut penalties.
they showed them in the
Clear cut.
replays. Like they were legit penalties. So it's like
Can
you're
I-
crying over the truth.
And I just have to say this about the last play. We're gonna end it here.
I was gonna
right?
say we might end it here.
Listen, so the play call so as everyone knows, right? Dak Prescott, Cowboys they got a bit of momentum because Jimmy G screwed up. Niners had the game sewn up. He screwed up, and Cowboys they got a little bit of momentum. They had a really hot drive, but this is like a hot two. What do we call it? It's not a 2 minute. This is a 1 minute drill. This is a 1 minute drill. This is the Aaron Rodgers drill. You know, this is this is the
Aaron
drill
Rodgers, Tom Brady, you know,
Peyton Manning. Yeah, these guys
maybe. Right?
1 minute drill. It's not even 2, and it's a playoff game. Like it's beyond the 1 minute, 2 minute drill. It's not a bad play call. It was a good play call. Now, what Dak did was not dumb, I would say, and I'm going to go through it, right? What he did, it just wasn't great. Great players don't do this. The play call was a QB run
draw.
up the middle, QB draw up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Smart play call. It was like 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 2. I think 2nd and 1. He only needed like 2 yards, right?
And so you saw the formation of the DBs all on the boundaries.
It was a good play call. This is how a pro would have run, because I'm not going to sit here and be like Dak's the dumbest dude ever, because we've seen dumb dudes, a lot of them on the Cowboys, like the coaches and the guys who couldn't get out of bounds. Coincidentally, a lot of these plays have come on Cowboys 2 minute drives. It wasn't that dumb, but great players like Brady, Peyton, Rodgers will never make this mistake. And I'm talking about first about Hall of Famers here, let's get it right. So
of course,
but it was a mistake. Great play call. It worked. This is what you needed to do. You only needed about 1.5 yards or 2, whatever it was. You only needed 2 yards. You get greedy. You run 15 yards. Not only are you wasting time running, you're also taking the ball way further away from everybody else. You got these big linemen, everyone, the refs, everyone has to run and get lined up. So he ran way too far. He should have ran 5 yards and slid. 7 yards and slid would have been fine too. That right there would save you 2 seconds nearly, because that's less time running for the refs, for the O linemen, and less time of Dak running. Less time.
Yeah, original time.
So 7 yards, slide, boom, you just saved 2 seconds. Next, get the ball, give it to the ref. Now, all veteran, good wide receivers do this. I get this. Quarterbacks don't practice this a lot, but that's the situation. That's why it's crazy how us semi-pro Madden players, like we know like little things like this, like to run out the play, like when you're about to score a touchdown, run sideways. Deshaun Jackson did that, and he learned it from playing Madden. That wasting an extra 5 seconds, that's huge. I mean, it's literally where the Cowboys lost because of like a second. So he should have slid earlier. Perfect play call. He should have held the ball. You find the ref. All good players except Chase Claypool do this. You find the ref, give it to him. Get out the way. Now again, like don't give me. I'm not saying Dak Prescott's a big dummy. Like he's not. He made a mistake. I'm telling you how a real veteran, a real pro, really good player would have done it. Slid it 7 yards, held the ball, gave it to the ref, got out of him, got the. Well, you don't even really need a play call. You just go. Everyone knows you're spiking it. You just because you got the first down. It's like 2nd and 1. So you got the first down. Spike it. Boom. On the clock, you have 3 seconds. Or at worst, 2 seconds on the clock. Like we're not even talking about a close to 0. Like we got 3 seconds on the clock. If he did that.
All I'll say is this: give the Cowboys one more play. I think the Niners still win the game, 100%.
Well,
I have no doubt.
I would say likely, but they had a lot of momentum, right? You got Dak.
Well, now you're looking at a Hail Mary, like a true Hail Mary throw, right? Like
it was around 25 yards.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not even. I mean, it's not a high. None of that really matters, though. That's what I'm saying. None of that matters. What matters is having a chance to win a Super Bowl.
That is true.
That's all that matters. Like I'm not like who. No one's saying like guaranteed the Cowboys would have won, but you need that play. I mean, they were driving that play. Like they were doing great, and that play call
was a good
worked.
drive. Definitely, they got on.
It's kind of like the J.R. Smith play. Kind of like the J.R. Smith play when he wasted that time. and then he threw it to the guy at the very last second. He didn't realize it.
LeBron couldn't believe it. Oh man.
Oh, he wanted to choke him out like Latrell Sprewell.
Good times, good memories.
See, I disagree. I mean, it's easy to say that, like, so Omar saying throw it to CeeDee Lamb 3 times, sure, but how about if it was a pick? Right now we'd be saying like, oh, what an idiot! Like they were playing sideline coverage. Why would you throw it to the sideline? Like, so you have to throw it to the side, right? So you're just saying basically like this is going to be incomplete. Like the Niners started to play like the Niners are like, hey guys, let's start playing actual like smart defense. And then he called the QB draw. Yeah, it's like
right.
I think it's a fine play because he got the first down, he got the yards. There was plenty of time, like because throwing to CeeDee Lamb, that's tougher sell. It's not going to be as easy. Like I don't know. I think the play call was fine, and I think Kellen Moore's. I think he's great, man. I think he's a good offensive coordinator. I mean, what you're saying is not wrong too, right? They could have thrown to CeeDee Lamb. I'm just saying like. That play call, I'm with it. I think it's okay. He just should have did it differently. And smart, clutch, pro players, would have done that. They would have done that. Well, I did all this. Dak pulled a Romo that end of the game poop feeling. Yeah, I mean, kind of.
Yep, that's a good way to put it. Dak pulled a Romo.
All right, guys, we're gonna end it there. Follow me on TikTok. See you on the next podcast. Next Thursday night live. We'll be there.